Chapter 23, Famous in China, Beyond the 9th Rank. Tianyuan Mansion. Ha 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 ha. He is worthy of being my son. He really has the qualities of a saint. Nangong Chen laughed loudly as he looked at the information sent by his subordinates. He fought against 10 purple palaces alone, and crushed them. Even when he was 18 years old, he was not so brave. At this time, Nangong Yu and Nangong Wentian, who were standing by, also showed a hint of doubt after hearing this. Seeing this, Nangong Chen also handed over the information in his hand. After the two saw it clearly, they also showed horror on their faces. What the hell? Nangong Wentian cursed out loud, his elegant face full of disbelief. Nangong Yu also stroked his beard, his eyes filled with shock. One person fought against 10 purple palaces alone, and the opponent had a burning life who broke through to the great power realm. So, Chen's true combat power must be at the early stage of the great power realm. The talent of having double pupils is indeed terrifying. I'm afraid it has surpassed all the 9th grade talents in the past and present. Even the goddess Su Li doesn't have such an impressive record. It seems that our Nangong family has really produced a true dragon, Nangong Yu praised repeatedly. Of course, but the fact that the king of Great Zhou sent the shadow guards to assassinate Chen cannot be let go like this. Nangong Chen changed the subject, his eyes flashing coldly. Then let's destroy the shadow guards and spread this news so that everyone in the world knows that the king of the Great Zhou sent 10 Purple Mansion realm warriors to assassinate my grandson, but was killed by my grandson in return. Let the whole world laugh at us. Nangong Yu thought for a while and said in a deep voice, Okay, the shadow guards are the fangs of the imperial court. If they are destroyed, the imperial court will probably curse them again. Nangong Wentian agreed with both hands and said with a smile, Ha ha ha, this move is cruel enough. The king of Zhou would probably be so embarrassed when he knew about it. He shot himself in the foot. Now it has helped my son. Nangong Chen also echoed. Amid the laughter of the three, the shadow guard, the top assassin of the Great Zhou, had been sentenced to death. The imperial court. When King de Zhou saw the information in his hand, his face turned green. How is it possible? 10 Purple Mansion realm cultivators can't even handle a mere chi refining kid. What's the point of them? He looked at the black-robed old man standing in front of him and said angrily. The black-robed old man in front of him was furious after hearing this and retorted, You're talking about us? What information did you give us? You're in the Purple Mansion realm and you said it was about chi training. I think you're getting old and confused. After hearing this, King de Zhou was obviously confused. What are you talking about? What about refining chi to become a purple palace? Didn't the others in Tianyuan Palace deal with these 10 assassins? The black-robed old man laughed angrily. All right, you didn't even know that Nangong Chen had awakened his double pupils and broken through to the Purple Mansion realm, and you asked us to kill him. You are such a talent. You deserve to lose to Nangong Chen. When King de Zhou heard this, his mind was struck by lightning and he was a little dazed. That loser awakened his double pupils and broke through to the Purple Mansion realm? Impossible. Absolutely impossible. Silly dog. The old man in black robe laughed, then shook his head in disappointment and disappeared here. China. This is the most powerful state in the Shentian domain and is also located at the core of the entire domain. This place is blessed with outstanding people and countless resources, which has created countless ancient forces. At the same time, it is also the state with the most geniuses and evildoers, a place that many cultivators in Shentian realm dream of visiting. Today, the ranking list hanging high above the Tianji Pavilion was actually flashing, and a stream of light was flowing there. This is an unusual phenomenon in the changes in the rankings, which means that a new genius has emerged. Oh my God! Another genius has appeared. Who could it be? I think there must be a genius from another state who has entered the Earth ranking. After all, there are people entering the Earth ranking every day. That's unforgettable. What if someone makes it into the top 100 of the heavenly ranking? How is that possible? The top 100 on the current list are all familiar evil disciples. How could they change so easily? If an evil was born, it would have been born long ago. These people spoke one by one, their hearts full of curiosity. There was a flash of golden light, and the 100th place on the heavenly ranking had changed. After seeing this, everyone's eyes were filled with shock. The heavenly ranking is a ranking of the strongest geniuses in the entire Shantian domain, and the age requirement is to be under 1,000 years old. Those who enter the top 100 of the heavenly ranking are all at the level of great powers, and their talents and qualifications start from the 8th level. If your talent and strength are equally poor, it will be difficult for you to enter the heavenly ranking. This is also the cruel part. I saw that Chu Xing, who was originally ranked 100th on the heavenly ranking, had become Nangong Chen. Oh my God! Who on earth is this Nangong Chen? He's actually a genius from Eastern Shenzhou. Look at his cultivation level. He's only in the middle stage of the Purple Mansion realm. How did he make it onto the list? Yes, the Tianjiao on the heavenly ranking all started at the Great Power realm, but now there's a Purple Mansion realm. This is really unheard of. On the heavenly ranking, the golden light on Nangong Chen's information column had not disappeared, and fonts were gradually generated. What this means is that the name that has just been revealed is just the tip of the iceberg, and it will take some time for it to be fully healed. After a few breaths, as all the information on Nangong Chen's column was displayed, everyone fell into silence. Heavenly ranking 100th, East Shenzhou, Nangong Chen. Talent qualification, Super 9th grade. Constitution, Double Pupil. Cultivation, Mid-Purple Mansion realm. Battle record, 1 person crushed 9 people in the late Purple Mansion realm and 1 person in the early Great Power realm. What the hell? What kind of monster is this? Its aptitude is actually beyond the 9th rank. What? Super 9th rank? Does this mean surpassing the 9th rank? Double pupils? Could it be the double pupils in the legend? Oh my God. Look at this record. It's really outrageous. After everyone saw it clearly, their pupils shrank slightly and they spoke in shock. Soon, the talent beyond the 9th rank attracted more and more people to watch, including many geniuses on the heaven ranking and earth ranking. Beyond the 9th rank? Could the Tianji Pavilion have made a mistake? How could someone's talent and aptitude surpass the 9th rank, even for this so-called double pupil? Below, a man in a battle robe spoke. He had a resolute face, a body as strong as Mount Tai, an extremely powerful aura, and a golden halberd on his back. Some people recognized this person and exclaimed in surprise, "Oh my God! Isn't this you Russian, who's ranked 61st on the heavenly ranking?" He actually raised doubts. Under you Russian's leadership, more and more people agreed. That's right. How could there be someone with talent beyond the 9th rank? Looking back at the Shantian realm, there has never been anyone with talent beyond the 9th rank. Did the Tianji Pavilion make a mistake? At this moment, in the Tianji Pavilion, an old man with an immortal look flew out and stood in the void. His eyes were deep and the aura emanating from his body was extremely powerful, and the pressure made everyone feel breathless. When they saw the head of Tianji Pavilion come out, everyone fell silent. Are you questioning me? Or are you questioning the Tianji Pavilion? Or are you questioning this immortal artifact, the Tianji Mirror? Bai Wudao asked as soon as he came out, with some anger in his eyes. After hearing this, everyone didn't dare to answer. They could see that Bai Wudao was rarely angry now. Yu Russian was silent. As a junior, it was difficult for him to answer these 3 questions. Nangong Chen's aptitude is beyond doubt. His double pupils are beyond the 9th rank. If those on the heaven ranking and earth ranking, are dissatisfied, you can go to East Shenzhou and compete with him. Of course, I'm not saying this now. Unless someone among you wants to bully the weak, he's only in the Purple Mansion realm right now, and it's hard to tell how deep he is. Bai Wudao continued, his eyes slightly narrowed, as if with a warning. After hearing this, everyone quickly reacted and said, "We know." Even you Russian, who had been quite arrogant just now, was like this. Chapter 24. Yin and Yang Dual Cultivation Technique. Silver Moon Mountains. As one of the 36 mountain ranges in the Great 30, this mountain range is remote, sparsely populated, and full of wild beasts. However, it is a rare holy place for cultivation. It is also well known locally, and geniuses from nearby areas often come here to hunt monsters or seek opportunities. Red Flame Dragon Claw. A shout was heard not far away, and a figure came out. He turned his palms into claws and clawed at a giant green snake in front of him. In an instant, red flames erupted, as if turning into a huge dragon claw, so hot that it directly tore the demon beast at the peak of the Spirit Sea realm into pieces. In an instant, the monster was torn into pieces, blood and flesh flew everywhere, with a smell of roasted meat. The flames on the red figure gradually disappeared, revealing a handsome young man, Su Outyen. Almost a month had passed. During this month, Su Outyen came to the Silver Moon Mountains and swallowed a precious medicine that had been buried for a long time. Not only did it restore his tendons and veins, but he also turned a disaster into a blessing and subdued a strange fire. It directly raised his qualification from the 6th grade to the 7th grade. That's right, the martial art he practiced was called the burning technique, which could improve his physical qualities by absorbing strange fire, which was truly incredible. Nangong Chen, you'd better not do anything to my master and Yuxuan, otherwise when I come to your house, I will slaughter your entire family and torture you with 1,000 fires, leaving you with neither life nor death. When Su Outyen thought about his master and the woman being captured by Nangong Chen, he became angry and wanted to go to Tianyuan Mansion immediately to kill him. 30 years in the east, 30 years in the west. And you, the Wang family, actually treat me like a joke. Just wait. After I deal with Nangong Chen, I will deal with you. Su Outyen seemed to have thought of something and spoke viciously, his eyes full of anger. The most urgent thing is to go to Tianyuan Academy. After all, the second half of the burning technique that Master mentioned is there. If I can obtain the second half of the burning technique and break through to the 9th level, I will not be afraid of any genius in the world. When the time comes, Nangong Chen, see if I can snatch Su Li away and let you enjoy the feeling of having your wife taken away from you. Ha 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 ha. And you, Su Li, I helped you so much that day, but you were so heartless. If I ever get you in the future, I will definitely humiliate you and treat you like a toy. Su Outyen thought to himself, and then let out a wicked laugh. Ha ha ha. Tianyuan Academy, here I come. The other side. On the flying boat, Nangong Chen sneezed, and a look of surprise appeared on his handsome face. Who is missing me? Could it be my good friend Su Outyen? Thinking of this, a hint of amusement appeared in Nangong Chen's eyes. Presumably, Su Outyen has now recovered his cultivation and gained new opportunities. Maybe he is still on his way to Tianyuan Academy. Of course he knew what Su Outyen's purpose was in going to Tianyuan Academy. Wasn't it just to get the second half of the burning technique? But will I let you succeed so easily? What's more, it seems that your master is hiding something from you. Nangong Chen's purpose of going to Tianyuan Academy this time was not so simple. He learned that there was a treasure in the Tongtian Tower, which contained not only the second half of the burning decree, but also something called the Tianyuan spiritual steel. This thing has a great origin. Everyone thinks that Tianyuan Academy was founded by Confucius, but it is not true. Tianyuan Academy existed before ancient times. At that time, Tianyuan Academy was extremely prosperous and was a superpower in East Shenzhou. However, it seemed to have experienced a catastrophe and has been heard of since then. It was also at that time that East Shenzhou gradually began to decline. Of course, in this day and age, very few people know this, and he learned it from Hong Tian's memory. According to legend, after the disappearance of Tianyuan Academy, it seemed that 2 inheritances were left behind. The core inheritance was those on the Tianyuan spiritual steel, and the other less important inheritance was probably obtained by Confucius. The fact that Confucius has been able to cultivate to this level today must be inseparable from the inherited skills, so he naturally took on the responsibility of reviving Tianyuan Academy, while also looking for the core inheritance left by Tianyuan Academy, the Tianyuan spiritual steel. That was the key to the strength and prosperity of Tianyuan Academy several epochs ago, but he would never have guessed in his lifetime that the Tianyuan spiritual steel was on the 80th floor of the Tower of Babel. Ha 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 ha! Thinking of this, A smile appeared on Nangong Chen's lips. Confucius once said that whoever can obtain the Tianyuan spiritual steel will be respected by the entire Tianyuan Academy and will obey his orders. Wouldn't that be gaining a saint-level power for nothing? Fortunately, I knew all of this in advance, and Hong Tian only told Su Outyen that the second half of the burning technique was in the Tongtian Tower, and he didn't mention that the Tianyuan spiritual steel was also in the Tongtian Tower. It seems that Hong Tian also has some selfish motives. Ding! We've arrived at the Cloudland. Do you want to sign in? Soon. A cold system voice sounded. Nangong Chen looked out the window and saw darkness with thick fog and nebulae swirling around. This place is the last stop of the flying boat, the land of clouds. After crossing this place, you can reach Tianyuan Academy. Thinking of this, he muttered to himself. Sign in. Ding, reward. Divine level technique. Yin-yang dual cultivation technique. Soon, a profound and incomprehensible memory came into Nangong Chen's mind. After Nangong Chen accepted it, there was some inexplicable meaning in his eyes. This is an ordinary dual cultivation method. Ordinary dual cultivation methods can only nourish one side and damage the other side. But this yin and yang dual cultivation technique can make both sides stronger at the same time, with yin and yang complementing each other. At this moment, when Nangong Chen saw the images in his mind, he felt a little hot in his heart. He could calm down, but there was no need to. After all, when it came to lust, it was better to follow one's heart. Knock, knock. There was a knock on the door. Enter. Master, are you okay? Wang Yuxuan asked worriedly after coming in. After all, she saw Nangong Chen's face turn pale after killing someone in order to save her today. She was very worried, and at the same time she felt deeply moved. If it were someone else, they might not have saved an insignificant slave like him. Something happened. Nangong Chen pretended to be pale and said, lying on the bed. After seeing this, Wang Yuxuan hurried over, with a guilty look on her face. What should I do now, master? It's all my fault. She was wearing a black and white maid outfit today, with cat ears on her head. With her short hair, she looked very pure and cute, and under her skirt were black stockings that were delicate and reflective. This outfit is very contrasting, and when people see it, they can't help but sigh that she is a beauty. Nangong Chen called her to his side and whispered a few words into her ear. After saying this, Wang Yuxuan's face flushed and she looked a little at a loss. Is that really the only way for you to be okay? That's right. Otherwise, I might never get well in my life. Nangong Chen sighed helplessly. After hearing this, Wang Yuxuan hesitated for a while, thinking that the other party was injured because of her. If she didn't agree, wouldn't it be heartless and ungrateful? Okay, I promise you, Wang Yuxuan said in a low voice, her face as red as a ripe apple. This will also help you. Perhaps after this, you will be able to break through from the early stage of the spiritual sea to the middle stage of the spiritual sea. Nangong Chen said seriously, and then passed on the skills in his mind. Wang Yuxuan was moved by the memories in her mind, and her face turned even redder. Then, the candlelight went out and a great battle was about to begin. Chapter 25 Tianyuan Academy. The next day, Nangong Chen woke up early, and the beautiful figure beside him had already disappeared. Nangong Chen didn't think much about it. After carefully sensing the changes in his body, his eyes flashed and his face looked a little shocked. It is worthy of being a god-level skill. The effect is truly incredible. And now the benefits are also reflected. Nangong Chen's cultivation level has directly increased from the middle stage of Purple Mansion to the late stage of Purple Mansion, and he is not far from the peak. He also took away Wang Yuxuan's Yuan Yin. Wang Yuxuan is a natural spiritual body, and the Yuan Yin in her body is of great benefit to cultivation. For example, functions such as improved comprehension and faster cultivation. At this time, footsteps were heard. Master, are you awake? Wang Yuxuan said with some surprise, holding a bowl of lotus porridge in her hand. Her innocent face had a hint of mature charm. Obviously, the girl is no longer a girl. Nangong Chen's eyes were tender, and after feeling Wang Yuxuan's breath, he nodded secretly. Yes, I have reached the middle stage of the spiritual sea. After hearing this, Wang Yuxuan's fair face blushed, as if she had thought of something. That's all thanks to Master. Nangong Chen laughed a little, but he didn't think of going to that place. Wang Yuxuan looked hesitant, as if she wanted to say something to Nangong Chen. Nangong Chen raised his eyebrows when he saw this and asked, "What's the matter? Is there anything you want to say?" "Well, Master, is your illness healed? If not, do you need to continue treatment for a few more days?" Wang Yuxuan said with some concern, and at the same time she felt a little eager in her heart, but she did not show it. Nangong Chen was a little stunned after hearing this. He didn't expect that she actually believed it. Nangong Chen thought for a moment and coughed lightly. "It seems to have gotten much better recently. If it continues like this in the future, I will let you know." "Okay. If the master gets sick, you must tell me," Wang Yuxuan said seriously, feeling an inexplicable joy in her heart. "Oh, by the way, this 3-flower lotus will be very helpful to your physique. Take it." Nangong Chen suddenly thought of something and spoke. Then, a 3-colored lotus emitting a divine light flew in front of Wang Yuxuan. When Wang Yuxuan saw this scene, her beautiful eyes lit up with surprise. She put it away silently and secretly vowed to serve her master well in the future. Seeing Wang Yuxuan's loving eyes, Nangong Chen subconsciously touched his kidney. Tianyuan Academy. At this moment, the academy was crowded with people, and countless young geniuses gathered here. Some of them wore gorgeous robes and were from royal families, while others wore linen clothes and were from commoner families, but without exception, they were all the most qualified and favored sons of heaven in the entire Great Zhou. Is this the Tianyuan Academy, the #1 institution of learning in the Great Zhou? It's truly magnificent. That's right. The spiritual energy here feels much richer than other places. If I can practice here in the future, my cultivation will definitely improve by leaps and bounds. Yes, it's all thanks to Confucius who founded this academy, giving poor students like me a chance to succeed. I don't know when the assessment will start. These boys and girls spoke one by one, their eyes full of longing for Tianyuan Academy. Soon, the gate of the academy opened wide and a figure flew out. He was an elder in the academy, dressed in a white robe, with an ethereal air and powerful cultivation. The aura he exuded was enough to change the faces of those present. Such pressure can only be exerted by a powerful person. "My name is Yi Qingfeng. You can call me Old Yi. I am the elder presiding over your assessment this time," Yi Qingfeng said, his voice like a bell, resounding throughout the world. When everyone saw such a powerful elder come out to preside over the meeting, their desire for the event grew even stronger. Even the presiding elder has such powerful cultivation, it is worthy of being the #1 academy in the Great Zhou. This assessment is divided into 2 parts. The first is to test your talent. Touch your hand to this aptitude tablet, and your aptitude will be displayed. Anyone who has passed the 4th grade aptitude will be considered to have passed the assessment and can participate in the second test. Of course, if you don't pass, Tianyuan Academy can only tell you that you have no chance. From now on, you don't need to participate in the assessment again, because there is no need at all. Yi Qingfeng said slowly, then pointed to a huge stone tablet inside the academy. After hearing this, everyone nodded, obviously having understood it before coming. But despite this, some people felt uneasy after hearing it. In the Shentian domain, the majority of people have qualifications below the 3rd grade. Only those with qualifications above the 3rd grade can be called geniuses. As for those above the 3rd grade, the gap between each grade is huge, which eliminates more people. This is the cruelty of this world. The second test is defending the arena. There are a total of 100 arenas. Within 3 hours, 5,000 of you will compete for these 100 arenas. Whoever successfully defends the arena will pass the test. Yi Qingfeng continued, his eyes sweeping down. The longer you defend the ring, the higher your score will be. The higher your score, the more likely you are to be noticed by the elders of the academy, and you may even have the chance to become the dean's apprentice. Sure enough, as soon as these words were spoken, everyone became excited and their eyes were filled with excitement. Having the opportunity to become a disciple of a saint would be like reaching the sky in one step. You will never have to worry about resources in the future, and there will also be a saint who can teach you. Of course, some people think that this is simply impossible. After all, he is a saint, and no one has ever heard of him accepting disciples before. It may just be a cover. I have never heard of Confucius recruiting disciples before. Could it be that Master Yi is deceiving us? Someone questioned. After hearing this, Yi Qingfeng was not angry, but laughed. Would I really want to lie to you youngsters? Just a while ago, the goddess of the Su family came to our academy and became the dean's disciple. Of course, don't ask why the goddess of the Su family could come directly to our academy. If you have the 9th grade qualifications, you can come too. As soon as the words fell, the whole place fell silent. The legendary goddess of the Su family was actually in this academy. Thinking of this, everyone's eyes became extremely hot. The name of the goddess was basically known throughout the Great Zhou, and people understood her very well. They even regarded her as a godlike figure. As for the rumors some time ago about the marriage between the goddess and the young master of Tianyuan Mansion, they also scoffed at it and did not believe it at all. They have nothing in common, but the fact that these two people can get together must be due to someone deliberately spreading rumors. Most of the geniuses who come here are not from the imperial capital, so it is normal to make such a guess. Chapter 26 Su Outyen arrives. Soon, the crowd erupted in noise. Doesn't that mean that if you can become a disciple of Confucius, you can see the goddess? I can't even imagine how happy I would be if I could practice with the goddess. I will give my all in this assessment, if not for anything else, just for the goddess. Everyone's eyes were burning with passion, and these words seemed to ignite their fighting spirit. Of course, there were also people in the crowd who scorned this. You useless people want to practice with the goddess. You are really like a toad wanting to eat swan meat. You must be hallucinating. Zhou Duan sneered in his heart and glanced at them coldly. Yi Qingfeng, who was standing in the sky, was stroking his beard with a smile, and there was a meaningful look in his eyes. These words are just to motivate you, but you actually believed them and thought you were goddesses. Let me tell you another good news. All the disciples and elders of the academy will come to watch your assessment this time. By then, not only the dean, but even the goddess will be there to watch. Yi Qingfeng continued and released another important piece of information. In an instant, the entire square fell silent. Everyone's eyes widened, their pupils shrank, and some were even trembling, a sign of extreme excitement. In the brief silence, an even louder cheer broke out. Oh my God! Did I hear that right? The dean and the goddess are here to watch our assessment. Coming here this time is truly worth it. Even if I don't get accepted into the academy in the future, I'll die without regrets. I can actually see the goddess. Okay. This time I will unleash all my energy and let the goddess see my heroic form. Yi Qingfeng's eyes flashed. It had been a long time since he had seen such a young and vigorous man. I hope there will be more good candidates in this assessment. Okay, the time has come. Now all examinees enter the academy square. The time limit is 1 stick of incense. If you exceed this time, you will be deemed to have forfeited your qualification. Yi Qingfeng glanced at the sky, then gradually calmed his eyes and said in a deep voice. After hearing this, everyone suppressed their excitement and followed Yi Qingfeng into Tianyuan Academy. The viewing platform above the academy square was already full of people. When everyone saw this, their pupils shrank slightly and they were shocked. Because sitting in those viewing stands, they could feel that these people were not much older than them, but their strength far surpassed theirs. Most of the disciples taking part in the assessment below are at the middle stage of the foundation establishment realm, while most of the disciples from the Tianyuan Academy above are at the early stage of the spiritual sea realm. A small number of geniuses have even reached the late stage of the spiritual sea realm, and some have even reached the peak of the spiritual sea realm. On the viewing platform, "Isn't this my second brother? Why didn't you go to practice today? Instead, you came to see these newcomers." A man in a black python robe spoke, with lightning dancing in his eyes. He exuded an extremely powerful aura and had a Great Zhou jade pendant hanging around his waist. He was obviously a member of the royal family. The next moment, a red figure appeared beside him. "Aren't you here too?" The man who came was dressed luxuriously with red hair. There was a shadow of a dragon in his eyes, and his aura was slightly weaker than that of the man in the black python robe. The two smiled at each other, each knowing what was going on. The purpose of coming here today is to see the goddess. But there is still something to see today. My fifth brother is also down there. The man in the black python robe looked at a figure below and said thoughtfully. After hearing this, the red-haired man also looked over and said, "Speaking of which, why didn't the third brother come? Logically, he should have come with the fifth brother." The man in the black python robe shook his head, also puzzled. "Why don't you just ask Zhou Duan later?" When the other disciples of Tianyuan Academy saw the two of them, they also started talking about it. "Isn't that the eldest prince Zhou Wanjie and the second prince Zhou Yanlong? Why are they here?" "Yeah. They're usually very powerful and arrogant. So why would they want to come and see these newcomers? Could it be that they are here for the goddess as well?" The people below also exclaimed when they saw Zhou Wanjie and the other man. "Oh my God! The eldest prince and the second prince are here to see us." Zhou Duan looked up at the sky, and after seeing the two people, he couldn't help but feel arrogant. "With my elder and second brothers around, I can act like a tyrant among the newcomers in Tianyuan Academy, and I'm afraid no one will dare to stop me. Ha 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 ha." At this moment, a streak of light appeared in the sky and flew towards the chief seat on the viewing platform. When everyone saw this, they couldn't help but hold their breath. They knew that the big one was coming. The dean and the goddess were coming. As the light faded away, a white-haired old man appeared. The pressure he exuded was extremely terrifying, and his eyes were filled with a Taoist charm that was as pure as the sky. He was like an ancient sage, and people were intimidated. Beside him was a frosty and beautiful woman, with 3,000 silver hairs scattered on her shoulders, eyebrows like ink paintings, eyes like stars, and a temperament as cold as an immortal, emitting a biting chill. When everyone saw that breathtakingly beautiful face, their pupils shrank slightly and they were speechless for a moment. This woman is so perfect that she doesn't seem like a woman in this mortal world. I, the old man, and the goddess have come to observe today. I hope the younger generation taking the test will perform seriously and give it their all. Kong Daoyun spoke, his voice so loud that it surrounded the entire world and interrupted everyone's thoughts. "I will definitely give it my all." After hearing this, the boys and girls who were taking the test below also became excited, as if they had been injected with chicken blood, and they said in unison. In the audience stands, Zhou Wanjie looked at Su Li with eyes full of admiration and aggression. "Second brother, you'd better not have any other thoughts about the goddess. Otherwise I will make your life miserable." Zhou Wanjie threatened in a low voice. Obviously, he had already regarded Su Li as his private property. After hearing this, Zhou Yanlong showed a bitter smile on his face. Now that his elder brother has spoken, who in the entire Zhou dynasty would dare to compete with him? And down below, the time of one stick of incense is about to come. "No one should come in, right?" Yi Qingfeng asked, glancing outside the door. Seeing that there was no one outside, he prepared to close the door. "Prepare for the assessment." Just as he was about to say start, a voice suddenly came in and interrupted him. Yi Qingfeng frowned slightly. "Wait a moment." At this moment, Su Outyan hurried over and shouted loudly. Chapter 27. It's so lively here. "Luckily I made it in time, huh?" Su Outyan said to himself, panting. Then his eyes lit up, he glanced around, and a smile that he thought was very handsome appeared on his face. "It is indeed Tianyuan Academy. I will rise here and then make my way to enlightenment. Until then, Nangong Chen, just wait for me." The disciples of the Tianyuan Holy Land above also frowned when they saw this, and even some elders were no exception. "He doesn't think he's that handsome. He's so disgusting. Yeah, he's as black as a mud ball. It's been days since he last showered. Hey, that's disgusting. Look, there are flies flying around him." When Su Li saw him, she frowned slightly. She felt that this person looked familiar, but she couldn't recognize who he was. After hearing these words, the smile on Su Outyen's lips froze. He was a little surprised. Shouldn't everyone be praising him? Even those girls would scream out of shyness. Why was it different from what he expected? Thinking of this, his eyes turned cold. You people really want to die. Wait until I get my foothold. Just wait for me. He was just in a hurry on the road and hadn't taken a shower for more than 10 days, so his body was covered in some dirt. What a superficial bunch of people. Now that everyone is here, the assessment officially begins. Yi Qingfeng said with a frown. Assessment? What assessment? Su Outyen was a little confused. After all, he had just arrived and knew nothing. He wanted to ask people around him, but he didn't expect that no one would pay attention to him and everyone avoided him. Su Outyen was about to get angry when he heard Yi Qingfeng's voice. Zhang San, 3rd grade qualification, unqualified. Li Si, 2nd grade qualification, unqualified. On the square, Yi Qingfeng began to recite with a look of disappointment in his eyes. He had thought that the quality of the disciples recruited this time would be better, but he did not expect it to be so poor. Su Outyen's eyes rolled, and it was obvious that he already understood what the assessment was. Isn't it just a talent test? This is too simple. With his 7th grade qualifications, it was no easy task to dazzle the entire audience. Then he looked around until he saw the beautiful figure above, and was dazed for a moment. No, why is Su Li here? Su Outyen suddenly woke up with a look of shock in his eyes. Nangong Chen is not here, right? Su Outyen quickly looked around, his pair of dark eyes scanning around. After a while, he felt relieved when he saw that there was no trace of Nangong Chen. Fortunately, he didn't, because now he has a shadow in his heart towards Nangong Chen. Then, an evil thought appeared in his mind. Since Nangong Chen is not here, I will snatch your wife away and make you green on the head. Ha 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 ha. I believe that with his previous charm, it will be no problem for him to win over Su Li. Thinking of this, he couldn't help but look at Su Li with a weird smile. This can be considered as the interest I collected in advance. Above, Su Li did not notice Su Outyen's gaze and still looked cold and arrogant. On the viewing platform, Zhou Wanjie noticed it, and a hint of murderous intent flashed in his eyes. A savage dares to have bad thoughts about the goddess. Boy, do you think you haven't lived long enough? Okay, if you are lucky enough to enter the academy, that will be the beginning of a nightmare. If you are eliminated, you will die. With the power of his royal family, it would be easy for him to kill a savage. Let Zhou Duan target this savage. Zhou Wanjie said with a tone that did not allow for refusal. Zhou Yanlong was a little surprised after hearing this, but he didn't ask any questions and passed the message on. Zhou Duan, who was preparing to test his talent below, smiled after hearing this message. He really meant it. This savage just disgusted him. Hey, that savage behind you. You haven't taken a shower for a few days? You smell so bad. Zhou Duan frowned and said loudly. Sure enough, when everyone lowered their heads, they smelled a strange odor, and then they all looked at Su Outyen with frowns. Su Outyen was still immersed in his own fantasy. Seeing that he was interrupted, he couldn't help but feel a little angry. It's none of your business. Who the hell are you? Everyone was a little shocked. They didn't expect that Su Outyen would dare to insult the 5th Prince Zhou Duan in public. Zhou Duan was also confused, and then his face turned cold, with a hint of murderous intent in his eyes. Okay, in all these years you are the first one who dares to talk to me like this. I don't know where you get the confidence from. After hearing this, Su Outyen also laughed. Waste? Who are you? Strength is my confidence. Afterwards, Su Outyen unleashed his cultivation in the late Linghai realm without any concealment. When everyone felt it, their expressions changed. What? He's actually in the late spiritual sea realm. Where did this monster come from? It seems we have underestimated others. The elders above spoke one after another. Dean Kong Daoyun was still looking down deeply, not seeming surprised at all. Zhou Duan's face turned pale. He didn't expect that he would hit a wall this time. He was in the late stage of the spiritual sea realm and had just entered the spiritual sea realm. Zhou Wanjie's face on the viewing platform also changed drastically. His eyes filled with fear. How is it possible? How could this savage be in the late spirit sea realm? When he first entered the academy, he had just entered the spiritual sea realm. Doesn't this mean that this person's talent is far greater than mine? Why aren't you talking? Su Outyen looked at Zhou Duan aggressively. He would not give up this opportunity to show off. At the same time, he couldn't help but feel secretly happy in his heart. He enjoyed the looks of everyone just now. Thinking of this, he glanced at Su Li, wanting to see if she looked shocked. Su Li's beautiful face still didn't look at him. Her ice-blue eyes were as calm as dead water, as if she was ignoring him. After Su Outyen saw this, his heart couldn't help but twisted. Okay, you dare to ignore me like this, just wait for me. You can only achieve this because you practiced a few years earlier than me. Your aptitude is absolutely poor. Zhou Duan gritted his teeth. He didn't believe that this savage's talent could be better than his. After hearing this, Su Outyen showed a confident smile. Since you are not convinced, then I will make you convinced. Yes, that's it. Everything familiar is back. And it's time for him to show off and get slapped in the face again. It seems that what happened to Nangong Chen before was just an accident. Just as he was about to touch the stone tablet to show off his talent, a familiar voice rang out. Wow, it's so lively here. Su Outyen's face changed. Then his expression twisted and his eyes turned red. He was very familiar with this voice. Nangong Chen, it's you again. Chapter 28, The Damn Dog Owner. I saw an extremely huge flying boat descending from the sky at some point, with divine mist gushing out and runes interweaving, carrying an extremely strong wave. On the flying boat, a figure in white clothes as white as snow stood with his hands behind his back. He was extremely handsome and dignified. Beside him was a pure and somewhat charming girl. The person who just spoke was Nangong Chen. After everyone saw it clearly, their pupils shrank slightly and their eyes were filled with shock. Is that Nangong Chen, the young master of Tianyuan Mansion? Why is it him? Is he going to come to Tianyuan Academy too? Isn't he a second-grade talent? Is he qualified to come? Everyone was talking in low voices. At this moment, Su Li, who was the chief at the viewing platform, had a complicated look in his eyes and a myriad of thoughts in his mind after seeing this. Why is he here? Is it because of me? Whenever Su Li saw Nangong Chen, she couldn't help but think of what happened that night, and a hint of sunset glow appeared on her beautiful face. Kong Daoyun, who was standing aside, was not surprised by Nangong Chen's appearance, because Tianyuan Mansion had already greeted him in advance. Kong Daoyun was very disgusted with these disciples who came in through the back door. But he couldn't say anything because Tianyuan Mansion would sponsor resources to Tianyuan Academy every year. He couldn't help but look at Nangong Chen a few more times. Who would have thought that just these few glances would reveal a look of shock in Kong Daoyun's eyes? He couldn't actually see through Nangong Chen's strength, which was like a ball of gray fog. Could it be true that the rumor some time ago that Nangong Chen awakened his double pupils after marrying the goddess was true? Or perhaps it was because his cultivation was too low, which led to his wrong judgment. Kong Daoyun looked at Nangong Chen with curiosity in his deep eyes. Zhou Wanjie looked a little surprised. Why did this playboy come here? Although he was curious, it was just curiosity. As long as the other party didn't provoke him, it would be fine. Although his father had warned him not to provoke Nangong Chen before, he didn't take it seriously and even sneered at him. What was there to be afraid of a waist with only a background? Of course, the most shocked person here was Su Outyen. Seeing Nangong Chen's gaze coming over, Su Outyen quickly lowered his head to hide his expression and forcibly suppressed the hatred in his heart. He couldn't let him recognize him, otherwise he would be in trouble. Who knew if his God King Guard was still here? He didn't want to experience the feeling of having his veins broken again. When I endure for a while, it will be the day of your death, Nangong Chen. A trace of gloom flashed across Su Outyen's eyes, and he thought fiercely in his heart. After obtaining the second half of the burning technique, his rise to prominence began. Seeing this, Nangong Chen revealed a playful smile on his face. He looked at Su Outyin and chuckled. Shenner, do you recognize this person? Why does he look familiar? Wang Yuxuan was a little confused after hearing this, then looked at Su Outyin. Her eyebrows slightly frowned, and a hint of disgust appeared in her beautiful eyes. Master, how could I recognize this person? Did you remember him wrongly? Wang Yuxuan said in a clear and pleasant voice with a hint of resentment. When Su Outyin heard this familiar voice, he was also stunned, as if he had been electrocuted. He couldn't help but look up and glance at Wang Yuxuan. It's really you don't recognize me. Su Outyin could sense that Wang Yuxuan seemed to have some differences compared to before, but he couldn't put his finger on it. She actually called Nangong Chen master so naturally. Did something happen between them during this period? No, it must be that devil Nangong Chen who forced her to do so. Su Outyin didn't dare to think of the worst and could only comfort himself. Oh, maybe I remembered it wrong. Nangong Chen smiled calmly and touched Wang Yuxuan's head. After Wang Yuxuan felt it, her face turned red with embarrassment. Master, what a fool. There are so many people watching here, you have to do it in bed if you want to flirt. After seeing this scene, everyone looked at them with envy. I didn't expect that the little princess of the Wang family would actually become Nangong Chen's maid. This beauty is worthy of being one of the 4 beauties of the Big Four. I hate that I was trained like this by Nangong Chen. But I heard that a while ago there was a man named Su Outyin who was very close to Wang Yuxuan. I don't know if it's true or not. Oh? Doesn't that mean that Su Outyin's hair is now green? Ha 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 ha. After seeing this scene, Su Li's beautiful face became even colder. She looked at Nangong Chen coldly, and the breath she exuded was so strong that it seemed as if the ground was frozen. Okay, you'll go out and flirt with other girls when I'm not around, right? Su Li didn't know why she had such emotional fluctuations. She just felt uncomfortable when she saw Nangong Chen laughing and joking with other women. Kong Daoyun, who was sitting nearby, suddenly felt a cold wind blowing, and even the weather seemed to have become quite a bit cooler. Hey, is winter coming? Kong Daoyun thought in confusion. After hearing the ridicule from the crowd, Su Outyin clenched his fists and secretly remembered them in his heart. If you dare to say that I have a green head, just wait and see how I torture you. At this moment, Yi Qingfeng spoke in a cold voice. Please do not interfere with our academy assessment. He interfered with the assessment for such a long time. If he wasn't the young master of Tianyuan Mansion, he would have been kicked out long ago. Seeing the examiner finally speak, everyone looked at Nangong Chen with some anticipation, wondering how he would respond. Wang Yuxuan, standing by, took out 2 tokens with a smile on her face. Here, ding ding ding. These are the Tianyuan Academy Inner Disciple tokens. The white token was emitting light, and the 2 words Tianyuan were written in a flamboyant style. They were written by the dean himself and no one could forge them. When the 2 tokens were taken out, the whole audience fell silent and their eyes widened. Damn it! When did Nangong Chen become an inner disciple of our academy? Could it be that this token is forged? That's impossible. The aura on it is the same as our token. Hiss! Could it be that the academy is deliberately giving Nangong Chen a backdoor? For a moment, everyone was talking about it. Yi Qingfeng looked a little embarrassed. He didn't expect that the person on the other side could even take out the inner disciple token. With his years of experience, he could tell at a glance that this token was absolutely genuine and could not be forged. Where did you get the token? Yi Qingfeng asked in a deep voice. At this moment, Kong Daoyun suddenly appeared in front of everyone and said, These 2, like the goddess, were specially recruited. I gave them the tokens myself. Okay, no need to ask any more questions. Let's continue the assessment. When everyone heard this, they were all shocked. Special recruitment? It's okay for Wang Yuxuan to be specially recruited. After all, she is a natural spirit body with 8th grade talent. But how could Nangong Chen be specially recruited? Was it based on money or ability? Hiss! What a damn rich dog owner. These disciples dared to be angry but not to speak out. Chapter 29 Super 9th Grade. I came here today for only one purpose, and that is to enter the Tower of Babel. Nangong Chen spoke with a calm expression and a confidence that looked down on everyone else. The sound was not loud, but it echoed throughout the square. After hearing this, everyone's pupils shrank slightly and their faces were shocked. They didn't expect that the purpose of the young master of Tianyuan Mansion coming here was simply to break into the Tower of Babel. You joined my academy just to get to the Tower of Babel? Kong Daoyun frowned and said, "What the hell is going on? The Tower of Babel is just a place to hone your skills. The rewards you get there are very little and have already been obtained by previous generations. Of course, if he could reach a higher level, he might be able to get some opportunities, but is that possible? Of course not. I came here today to meet my Taoist partner." Nangong Chen smiled and then looked at Su Li. When everyone saw this, their eyes were filled with shock. When did the goddess become his Taoist partner? Zhou Wanjie felt even more nervous and had a vague sense of foreboding. Everyone turned their eyes to Su Li, wanting to see how she would react. They all hoped that Su Li would ignore Nangong Chen or scold him, so that they could feel at ease and laugh at him. Unfortunately, they were disappointed. After hearing this, the extremely aloof Su Li's delicate face flushed slightly, and she said coldly, "You still know that I am your Taoist partner." "Ah-ha-ha-ha." Nangong Chen laughed awkwardly. Of course he knew what Su Li was talking about. When everyone saw this scene, their hearts were completely broken. For a moment, these male disciples cried out in pain as if they had just been heartbroken. "My goddess, how come she is really the Taoist partner of this playboy? How am I inferior to him? Isn't he just more handsome than me and has a better background than me? Nangong Chen is such a lucky guy. Not only does he have such a powerful background, but even the goddess fell into his clutches. Doesn't that mean that the two beauties of the Great Zhou are now in Nangong Chen's hands?" They looked at Nangong Chen with extremely envious and jealous eyes. The one who suffered the greatest blow among them was Zhou Wanjie. His face turned black as if he had eaten shit, and his eyes were full of disbelief. "The white moonlight that I have always had a crush on has actually become a married woman. Nangong Chen, you deserve to die." He roared in his heart and looked at Nangong Chen viciously. "You, a second-grade loser, are worthy of being a goddess. Just wait and see. I'll make you pay sooner or later." Zhou Wanjie's eyes flashed with murderous intent, and he muttered to himself. Zhou Yanlong standing by also had an ugly expression on his face. Seeing that Nangong Chen was the target of public anger, Su Outyin in the crowd also showed his big teeth and smiled secretly. "Nangong Chen, you have come to this day. Ha 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 ha. Quiet." Kong Daoyun also spoke when he saw the noise. As soon as the word was spoken, the entire square fell silent as if carrying a force. Kong Daoyun then looked at Nangong Chen and said, "You can enter the Tower of Babel, but you must obtain the qualifications. Otherwise, even if you are the young master of Tianyuan Mansion, you will still have no privileges." Nangong Chen nodded. There are two qualifications for admission to the Tower of Babel. One is to get first place in the entrance examination, and the other is to stay in the Tianyuan Academy for 2 years. After hearing this, Nangong Chen did not hesitate at all. "I choose the first option." What a joke! If he were to stay in this place for 2 years, wouldn't that be tying his own hands? As for the entrance examination, it was just a test of talent and then defending the arena. For him, it was a piece of cake. Seeing that he agreed so decisively, everyone was a little confused. Where did he get the confidence from? "Okay, if you have the courage, then go and complete the assessment now." A hint of appreciation flashed in Kong Daoyun's eyes, and at the same time he was very curious about where Nangong Chen's confidence came from. Before this, he had never heard that the young master of Tianyuan Mansion had a talent for cultivation. Nangong Chen flashed and came to a huge stone tablet in the center of the square. Everyone looked sarcastic. "You are just a person with second-grade talent. You will be embarrassed later. Open your double pupils." Nangong Chen said to himself, then touched it with his hand. Boom! Nangong Chen's aura soared steadily, and his cultivation in the Purple Mansion realm was directly released. A faint light burst out from his eyes, which contained images of chaos creating the sky and the destruction of mountains and rivers, which was extremely terrifying. What is this? Kong Daoyun said in shock with his eyes wide open. 18 years old at the Purple Mansion realm. Not only him, but everyone present in the audience was stunned at this moment. Nangong Chen is actually a strong man in the Purple Mansion realm? Su Li's beautiful eyes were shining brightly, and he was stronger than before. Wang Yuxuan's bright eyes were now filled with little stars, and she looked at Nangong Chen like a fangirl. Master. So handsome. And Su Outyen, who was in the crowd, had a frozen smile on his face. This piece of trash is actually in the Purple Mansion realm? It's impossible, it's absolutely impossible. Tianyuan Mansion must have piled up resources to defeat him. If he fights with me, he will definitely not be able to beat me. At this moment, he was still a little desperate. As Nangong Chen's aura continued to rise, the light on the stone tablet began to brighten. At the same time, a brilliant light suddenly burst out in the sky above Nangong Chen. The bright daylight turned dark in an instant, and the sky seemed to be torn apart. An endless stream of chaotic energy filled the entire sky. Green lotuses releasing vigorous vitality actually grew in it. At this moment, the sky and the earth were dim. The sun and the moon were without light, and only one divine lotus was blooming with extreme light, destroying the sky and the earth. In the chaos, the Great Way was evolving. What's this? This was the only thought in everyone's mind at the moment. On the stone tablet that tested talent, 9 rays of light lit up directly, bursting out with the most blazing divine light. Everyone saw it clearly and their faces were filled with shock. It's actually a 9th grade talent? However, this is not the limit. As the 9 rays of light lit up at the same time, a divine light was actually flowing with faint signs of unity and even signs of breaking through the 9th level. No, this is definitely not 9th rank. It's even stronger than 9th rank and has even more extraordinary talent. Kong Daoyun's eyes were shining as he stared at Nangong Chen, shocked. Could it be the legendary super 9th grade? At this moment, an idea suddenly appeared in his mind, which he had seen in an ancient book. As for the strange phenomenon in the sky, even he could feel the dangerous aura. He heard that the ancient monsters also had strange phenomena with them. They were invincible when they were born and conquered everyone on their way to becoming emperors. And now, the scene before him was like the words in the book being repeated, allowing him to see a young emperor. Chapter 30. Let's go together. Ding! Do you want to sign in? At this moment, a voice sounded in Nangong Chen's mind. It was only then that Nangong Chen remembered that he would have an opportunity to sign in when he arrived at Tianyuan Academy. Sign in, he said without hesitation in his heart. Successful sign-in, rewarded with the God-level technique, the Heavenly Emperor Fist. A stream of profound memories flowed into his mind like flowing water. The Heavenly Emperor Fist was created by the most powerful being, the Heavenly Emperor. It integrates the laws of nature into the boxing technique. With one punch, all things come into being. With one punch, heaven and earth are destroyed. With one punch, yin and yang are opened. Boom! In his mind, there was an extremely powerful figure punching. He couldn't see his face clearly, but what he was sure of was that this super powerful being was surrounded by huge stars, was at the center of the universe, and had countless worlds under his feet. He swung his fist, and with one punch, the stars were destroyed, chaos began, and the universe seemed to be collapsing. This punch was so powerful that the entire heavens could not contain it. Nangong Chen was extremely shocked. Is this person the Emperor of Heaven? What a magnificent and brilliant picture this is. It is incredible that humans can be so powerful. To outsiders, Nangong Chen seemed to have entered a state of enlightenment at this moment. Colorful, auspicious clouds descended from the sky, and strange phenomena were evolving on Nangong Chen's body. This is obviously entering a state of harmony between man and nature. If the epiphany is successful, he will probably soar to the sky. The small Great Zhou Dynasty cannot tolerate this peerless monster. Kong Daoyun, who was far away, touched his beard, shock in his eyes, and thought to himself. After a few breaths, the strange phenomenon on Nangong Chen's body disappeared. He opened his eyes, and an extremely terrifying pressure was released from his body, turning into a light wave that spread out. The ground shook slightly, and the void trembled. At this moment, everyone's faces were pale. It was obvious that this majesty was not something they could withstand. What's even more interesting is the expressions of the elders of Tianyuan Academy, whose mouths are so wide open that they can hold an egg. This kind of aura actually made them feel a little uneasy. They had a vague thought in their minds that if they fought with Nangong Chen, they might not be able to hold on for a few breaths. Their faces were filled with shock, and they secretly swallowed their saliva. This kid is too scary. Zhou Wanjie's previous arrogant expression disappeared, and there was even a hint of fear in his pupils. The constitution of his body told him that this person must not be made an enemy. He didn't expect that Nangong Chen would jump from a useless waste to become an unparalleled genius, a genius who crushed all the geniuses in the Great Zhou. This gap was a little unbearable for him. Doesn't that mean I'll have to live in Nangong Chen's shadow for the rest of my life? Zhou Yanlong on the side was also very shocked. Nangong Chen was too unfamiliar. He was so unfamiliar that he was not the same person as he remembered. The most shocked person was Su Outyan. He did not expect that Nangong Chen's talent was so amazing. Was it those eyes? Su Outyan met their gaze and felt as if his soul was about to be devoured by those terrifying eyes. His body was trembling, and he even had the illusion of kneeling down to him. Why? He was clearly just a dandy disciple, so why had everything changed in just 1 month? When did he awaken such a terrifying and astonishing talent? Su Outyan's mind was full of questions. Not only him, but everyone in the square was also very confused. This huge gap is really too painful. Does he still have a chance to take revenge in this life? Su Outyan couldn't help asking in his heart, with a bitter taste in his mouth. Suddenly, he seemed to have thought of something. His eyes lit up, and his face regained its former confidence. I still have a chance. After obtaining the second half of the burning art, I can raise my qualifications to above the 9th rank. By then, even Nangong Chen will have to bow down to me. Even though he also had 9th grade talent, he firmly believed that this playboy would not live long even with such talent, and he himself, with good luck, would be the final winner. Nangong Chen, 9th grade talent. It was not until Nangong Chen glanced at Yi Qingfeng that Yi Qingfeng reacted tremblingly and said loudly. The whole audience was in an uproar. They had never expected such a result. They looked at Nangong Chen with extremely fiery eyes. This is the second 9th grade qualification in the Great Zhou Dynasty, enough to be passed down through the ages. Nangong Chen himself had a calm expression, as if he had expected it. Double pupils are a talent that surpasses the 9th grade. A mere testing spirit tablet naturally cannot measure his talent. The 9th grade is already the limit, but it doesn't matter. He will let everyone know that there are also differences in 9th grade qualifications. Beside him, Wang Yuxuan looked at Nangong Chen with enthusiasm, the love in her eyes remaining unchanged. The master is really awesome. Now, can we start the second assessment? Nangong Chen asked calmly, looking at Kong Daoyun with his double pupils, with a condescending air. After seeing this, Kong Daoyun looked a little frightened, but he still responded, "The other disciples who are taking the test haven't finished their tests yet. It will take some time before it can be opened. If you don't want to wait that long. There is another way, which is to challenge a true disciple of the academy. If you can defeat him, you can also obtain the qualification." When these words were spoken, everyone looked a little shocked. Aren't the true disciples of the academy Zhou Wanjie and others? Although they are not as talented as Nangong Chen, they have all been in the academy for a long time and are geniuses who have broken through to the Purple Mansion realm long ago. The gap of several decades is a bit like the big bullying the small. So what choice will Nangong Chen make? Everyone looked expectant. If they did not choose to challenge, that would be understandable. But if they chose to challenge the true disciple, then there would be something interesting to watch. Nangong Chen looked confident and calm as he said, "All the true disciples of Tianyuan Academy, come together. I don't want to waste time." After the words were spoken, everyone's mouths stiffened, as if they had heard something incredible. He wants to challenge all the true disciples. Did we hear it right? And those disciples who came for the test were looking at Nangong Chen with fanaticism on their faces. He is truly a role model for our generation. He performed such a heroic feat on the first day of hospitalization. Regardless of success or failure, the name Nangong Chen will always be remembered in their hearts. Zhou Wanjie, who was sitting in the stands, had a gloomy expression when he heard this. Okay, you're so arrogant. Zhou Yanlong's eyes were also icy. If that's the case, then I'll teach him a lesson. The other 3 true disciples beside him also nodded. Although Zhou Yanlong was the last one to enter the ranks of true disciples, he possessed the body of the Red Dragon King, had 6th grade qualifications, and had now entered the middle stage of the Purple Mansion. This should be more than enough for him to teach this kid a lesson. Chapter 31. One finger sends Zhou Wanjie flying. Soon, a figure landed on the arena. After everyone saw it clearly, they looked a little shocked. It turned out to be the second Prince Zhou Yanlong. I heard that he just broke through to the middle stage of Purple Mansion a few days ago. It seems that Nangong Chen is in some danger. Yes, and the Imperial Court and Tianyuan Mansion have always been at odds with each other. Now that the second prince has chosen to go to war, it must be with the intention of suppressing Tianyuan Mansion. I don't think Nangong Chen has a chance. He's too young. The second prince carries the Scarlet Dragon King's body and has far more combat experience than him. This battle should be over soon. Everyone was talking about it, and it was obvious that they were not optimistic about Nangong Chen. And Suli, who was sitting in the audience stands, had a hint of smile in her beautiful eyes on her cold and beautiful face. She knew that someone was going to be in trouble, but she didn't say who it was. Su Outyen, who was in the crowd, had a cold look in his eyes and prayed in his heart that the other party could defeat Nangong Chen. He really wanted to see Nangong Chen fail. The 5th true disciple of Tianyuan Academy, Zhou Yanlong, has come to learn from the young master of Tianyuan Mansion. Zhou Yanlong said in a cold voice, his eyes full of hostility. You're not qualified yet. Nangong Chen spoke, dressed in white, with a chaotic and strange vision of creation evolving in his double pupils. He had an extremely terrifying aura, and had the demeanor of a young king. Many female disciples below couldn't help but scream when they saw such a handsome man. Young master is so handsome. Ah, I want to be the young master's dog. Although I am a student of the academy, I still hope that the young master can win. These female disciples were extremely enthusiastic and spoke. After seeing this, the other male disciples in the academy were also extremely envious and jealous of Nangong Chen. Tisk, isn't it just that he's a little more handsome than me, a little more talented than me, and has a stronger background than me? Apart from that, what else is better than me about Nangong Chen? A plain-looking man said confidently, shaking his hair. When the female disciples around saw this, they also kept their distance. How shameless! How unbelievable! You think you can compete with my brother with just this? These female disciples whispered. Soon, everyone's attention returned to the arena. You are so arrogant. Today, I will let you see the true strength of the academy. Nangong Chen's words completely infuriated Su Yanlong. As the second prince, who in the entire Great Zhou dared to speak to him like this. Immediately afterwards, Su Yanlong's cultivation power exploded, and his clothes were torn apart. His whole body seemed to be wrapped in flames, and his aura was extremely powerful. I saw red scales gradually growing on his naked upper body, as if he was about to transform into a dragon. After a few breaths, he turned into a half-human, half-dragon state, and there was a hint of dragon power in his pupils. When everyone saw it, they were extremely shocked. Zhou Yanlong's Red Dragon King body has become even stronger recently. It seems Nangong Chen is in trouble. Yes, but the only one who can make Zhou Yanlong explode immediately is Nangong Chen. I want to see how Nangong Chen can resist Zhou Yanlong. When Zhou Wanjie above saw this, he laughed out loud, his eyes full of confidence. After his physique exploded, Zhou Yanlong's strength and speed increased tremendously. It can be said that Zhou Yanlong's current combat power is almost the same as that of an average late Purple Mansion realm cultivator. Even if he fought with him, he might not be able to defeat Zhou Yanlong in this state. Are you scared, silly? Zhou Yanlong's eyes were full of bloodthirstiness. Seeing that Nangong Chen did not move, he rushed towards him like a missile at an extremely fast speed. Take my move. Burning Sky Dragon Fist. Zhou Yanlong punched down with a blazing flame, as if he had turned into a fire dragon. If an ordinary person in the late Purple Mansion realm were to receive this punch, he would probably drink blood. When everyone saw this, they were also shocked. Just when the fist was about to fall, Nangong Chen took action. Golden blood and energy burst out from his body, and all the millions of dragon elephant particles in his body were activated. He stretched out a finger and directly blocked Zhou Yanlong's punch. The smile on Zhou Yanlong's face froze, and he looked at Nangong Chen with extremely fearful eyes. He could feel that this finger had drained away all the strength in his body. Boom! Immediately afterwards, a huge force burst out from Nangong Chen's fingers, and Zhou Yanlong was directly blown away, spitting blood, flying dozens of meters away, and smashing a big hole in the ground. Hiss! The whole audience was silent. After seeing this, everyone's pupils shrank slightly, and they couldn't believe what they were seeing. Just a light flick of his finger, and he sent Zhou Yanlong, known for his strength, flying away. It was over before everyone even saw Nangong Chen exert his strength. Nangong Chen shook his head, seeming a little disappointed. This speed seems fast, but in front of his double pupils it is as slow as a snail. Is this the true strength of the #1 academy in the Great Zhou? I'm really disappointed, Nangong Chen said, his white robe rustling, and when his eyes opened and closed, there were visions of the sun destroying and the stars sinking, which was extremely terrifying. He didn't even use his double pupils or the Chaos Seed Green Lotus vision, but he was able to suppress Su Yanlong with the strength of his physical body. These disciples looked unhappy. Zhou Yanlong, the true disciple, was no match for Nangong Chen in one blow. This was indeed hard to believe. The other female disciples' eyes became more and more fanatical, and they couldn't help but clamp their legs together when they saw the handsome Nangong Chen. Su Outyen in the crowd looked extremely shocked. Then his face turned pale and he clenched his fists unconsciously. Why is Nangong Chen, this dissolute disciple, so strong? Does he still have hope of defeating Nangong Chen? A flash of shock crossed Kong Daoyun's mind. He was indeed the legendary person with double pupils. I'm afraid only those monsters on the heavenly ranking in Zhongzhou can fight against them. Su Li's beautiful eyes were also shining, and ripples appeared in her heart. This guy is really abnormal. It has only been a few days, but he has become so strong. Thinking about that day in her boudoir, Nangong Chen was actually repelled by her aura. She thought that Nangong Chen really had no cultivation, but she didn't expect that she underestimated him. Now think about it, if he wanted to kill her that day, it would only take a moment. Thinking of this, her eyes became a little complicated. Doesn't that mean she should be grateful to him? At this moment, the true disciples in the audience stands all clenched their fists. Their eyes were cold, but they didn't dare to say a word. Nangong Chen is really too strong. Su Yanlong's strength is almost the same as theirs, but he is no match for his one blow. If it were them, they would probably end up the same way. Don't be so arrogant, Nangong Chen. I'm here to fight you. Just then Zhou Wanjie spoke, landing on the arena like a bolt of lightning. After seeing this, the elders also breathed a sigh of relief. Finally, a disciple went up to fight. Zhou Wanjie is a 7th grade Thunder Tribulation battle body. He has been in the late Purple Mansion for a long time. I believe defeating Nangong Chen should not be a problem. That's right. I don't believe that 9th grade talent is so incredible. Chapter 32. A mayfly shakes a tree. Zhou Wanjie flew down from the sky and landed steadily on the arena. Lightning flashed in his eyes and he looked at Nangong Chen with an extremely cold face. This battle is not only to enhance the reputation of our true disciples, but also to enhance the reputation of our royal family. As the most outstanding son of the King of Zhou, if he were defeated, the impact on the court would be self-evident. It's like a gnat trying to shake a tree. Even though you are from the royal family, I will still destroy your last bit of confidence. Nangong Chen said in a cold voice, with an indifferent expression and an invincible aura. The atmosphere between the two was already tense before they even started fighting. You know, the eldest prince has never been defeated since he entered Tianyuan Academy. Can Nangong Chen break this undefeated myth today? However, the strength Nangong Chen has shown so far is just the tip of the iceberg. No one knows where his limit is. I think the legend of the eldest prince is about to be broken. Ha ha ha. Nangong Chen is just a clown. How could he possibly defeat the eldest prince? You know, last month, the eldest prince killed a powerful Thunder Yuan tiger and obtained the Thunder Dao essence, and his strength has improved by leaps and bounds. Everyone was talking one after another, when suddenly a black-robed disciple spoke, shocking them completely. This black-robed disciple was named Hu Fei, and he was a close confidant of the eldest prince, so his words were naturally somewhat credible. What? The eldest prince was able to surpass his level and kill a powerful Thunder Yuan tiger. Nangong Chen is in trouble. You know, the eldest prince has a Thunder Tribulation battle body. If he absorbs the essence of Thunder Dao, his strength will probably reach another level. Ha ha ha, well done. I've been annoyed by Nangong Chen's pretense for a long time. Why does he have so many female disciples chasing after him? At this time, all of Zhou Wanjie's younger brothers jumped out and spoke proudly. A hint of pride flashed in Hu Fei's eyes. The eldest prince could not lose. These disciples were talking loudly, and many people heard what they said. After hearing this, Su Outyan was also extremely excited. Like a villain who had succeeded, his eyes filled with joy. Nangong Chen, aren't you invincible? You've met a tough opponent today, haven't you? I'm gonna laugh at you later. Now his heart was blinded by hatred, and the name Nangong Chen tugged at every string of his heart. When Wang Yuxuan heard the discussions, she looked at the proud figure in white with some worry. How could the master lose? This is absolutely impossible. I'm going to give you haters a good slap in the face soon. She seemed to have thought of something and muttered softly. You know, it was effortless for Nangong Chen to kill 10 Purple Mansion Realm Masters before. Su Li, who was standing in the audience stands, was still as ethereal as ever, with no trace of emotion in her beautiful eyes. Of course she heard those rumors, but she didn't take them seriously. Only those who were familiar with Nangong Chen knew how powerful this guy was. Thinking of this, she continued to focus her attention on the arena. There's no point in talking anymore. Let's get started. Zhou Wanjie said coldly. 3 inches of lightning flashed from his eyes, and he slapped out with one hand. The terrifying thunder and lightning poured out directly, turning into thousands of lightning bolts, and the waves emitted were heart-pounding. This is an extremely powerful thunder-based martial arts skill called the 9 Heavens Thunder Palm. Moreover, it was bestowed upon Zhou Wanjie, who had a Thunder Tribulation battle body. With one palm strike, any genius in the Purple Mansion realm would be either killed or injured. Nangong Chen's double pupils emitted a faint light. He clenched his 5 fingers into a fist and threw a light punch. There was no dazzling fire, just a plain punch, but it seemed to emit a sonic boom. Behind Nangong Chen, it seemed as if a peerless strong man appeared, with an extremely terrifying aura. He was a strong man who did not belong to this era. At this moment, they actually punched down together with Nangong Chen, and it felt like the world was about to be destroyed, shocking the sky and the earth. This is the god-level martial art, the Heavenly Emperor Fist. At the same time, tens of millions of dragon elephant particles exploded in Nangong Chen's body, adding nearly 100 million pounds of divine power, which poured out with this punch. The superposition of the 2 powers has reached a very terrifying level. The aura emitted is so volatile that it seems to shatter the entire sky and earth. Rumble. With this punch, the terrifying magical power fluctuations spread like ripples, like a missile falling into the water exploding, shaking the entire square. Under everyone's shocked gaze, a figure flew out from the core of the explosion, like a kite with a broken string, and blood splattered all over the sky. It was Zhou Wanjie's figure. He flew backwards, his entire right hand revealing the white bones, twisted in an awkward posture, obviously broken. Zhou Wanjie's face was extremely pale, and he looked at Nangong Chen with unprecedented shock. For many things, if you have not experienced them personally, you will never understand the despair. Now Zhou Wanjie understood the despair that Zhou Yanlong felt. It's as if I'm not facing a person, but he was facing a young supreme. Zhou Wanjie stopped retreating, his face filled with shock. How is it possible that your strength is so? Not only was he shocked, but everyone in the square was stunned. Hu Fei, who had previously boasted about Zhou Wanjie's invincibility, was horrified. His eyes filled with disbelief. This is impossible. Wang Yuxuan showed admiration. As expected of you, master. You truly have the power to make decisions for eternity. Su Li, who had been watching from the stands, couldn't help but have her beautiful eyes sparkle and sigh inwardly. If I don't practice hard, I'm afraid this guy will pull me further away in the future. Zhou Wanjie was lying on the ground with an unyielding look in his eyes. This represented the face of the royal family, and he couldn't just fall down like that. Come again! Zhou Wanjie roared, and a source of thunder essence was released and wrapped around his right hand. In an instant, the right hand that had white bones emerging from it was healed, along with the injuries on his body. I knew that the eldest prince would not be defeated like this. Hope rekindled in Hu Fei's eyes. This is the Thunder Tribulation battle body, and it is also one of the top-ranked physiques. If it weren't for the appearance of a monster like Nangong Chen, Zhou Wanjie would probably have suppressed the younger generation of the Great Zhou long ago. So what if I recover? I'll still be beaten by my master. Wang Yuxuan curled her lips and said with some disdain. Those who supported Zhou Wanjie were also furious when they heard this. You! What? Do you weaklings want to hit me? Wang Yuxuan rolled her eyes and said speechlessly. Chapter 33 Entering the Tower of Babel. 8 Desolate Thunder Tribulation. Today, in the name of Wanjie, I will punish the heavens. Send down the divine thunder. Zhou Wanjie roared, and thousands of lightning bolts burst out from his body, interweaving in the void and turning into a 10,000-foot sea of thunder. Gray thunderclouds rolled and lightning flashed, as if a thunder god had descended. The scene was earth-shaking. Are you qualified to punish God? Nangong Chen sneered, and golden blood burst out from his body. A phantom of a dragon and elephant vaguely condensed behind him. The aura was so terrifying that it seemed to be able to shatter the sky. Nangong Chen's black hair was flying. His white clothes were rustling. Chaos began to appear in his double pupils. Runes were intertwined, and his terrifying eyes could even tear the entire world apart. A ray of light burst out from Nangong Chen's double pupils and rushed straight towards the sea of thunder above, with a destructive force, as if to destroy everything in the world. This is not the ultimate secret of Chongtong. Chongtong opens the sky. Just a glance is powerful enough to make the entire void tremble. After seeing this scene, everyone's pupils shrank slightly. This doesn't look like the power erupting from the Purple Mansion realm at all. It's more like the power of a god-king. Zhou Wanjie's face turned pale as he was fixed on this gaze. He could feel that he couldn't even hide. Boom! The sea of thunder in the sky was shattered by this gaze, and Zhou Wanjie was blown away and fell from the void. There was powerlessness in his eyes, and he hated why a monster like Nangong Chen appeared. Zhou Wanjie fell to the ground, his body showing signs of collapse. It was obvious that he had fought to the limit. Nangong Chen was dressed in flowing white clothes, with a calm expression, still as radiant as a banished immortal, emitting an invincible aura, like a young king. When everyone saw this, they sighed. They didn't expect this to be the result. If you give me 100 years, you will definitely not be my opponent. Zhou Wanjie gritted his teeth, his eyes full of anger. His body was bleeding, but he still felt a little unwilling to accept it. After hearing this, Nangong Chen also laughed disdainfully. I never consider the enemy defeated by me as my opponent. I will give you time to catch up, until you are out of sight. Zhou Wanjie's body was already at its limit after hearing what he heard. and after hearing Nangong Chen's words, he fainted. After seeing this, Hu Fei and others looked at Nangong Chen with fear. Perhaps Nangong Chen is the only one in the entire Great Zhou who can force the eldest prince to such a point. It seems that after today, they have one more person in their minds who they should not mess with. They regretted what they had said earlier. When the other true disciples saw this, they broke out in cold sweats. Fortunately, these two idiots explored the way for them first. They don't want to face this kind of monster. Seeing Nangong Chen so high-spirited, Wang Yuxuan said admiringly, "Master is truly invincible." There were 1,000 thoughts in her beautiful eyes, and at this moment she also had the urge to become stronger. She couldn't let the gap between her and her master be too big. What if her master abandoned her in the future? The other side. In the audience stands, Su Li's beautiful eyes shone brightly. It was hard to imagine that the current Nangong Chen was the same person as before. There is also a gap between the 9th grade qualifications. She couldn't help but sigh in her heart. But it's okay. These days, she has been dreaming of a scene, as if she is about to awaken to something. A gorgeous woman with a bronze mask on her face, extremely powerful, was battling against 10 equally powerful creatures. In this battle, the sky collapsed and the earth split. The way of heaven fell. The void was shattered. Blood flowed on the ancient battlefield. Corpses were everywhere, and billions of lives trembled. The woman seemed to be saying something. Foreign land? Immortal king. Although Su Li had some doubts in her heart, she had no way to answer them and could only think about them later. Su Outyen, who was in the crowd, was pale and looked shocked. He didn't expect that Nangong Chen was so strong that it made people feel powerless. If I reach the 9th rank, can I really defeat him? He was a little confused and a little afraid. Soon, Su Outyen regained his confidence. Of course I can. I am the son of destiny. Nangong Chen will definitely be a stumbling block to me. Even if I have to spend all my strength, even if I become a demon, I will definitely kill him. Thinking of this, he couldn't help but look at the tower standing in the academy. Inside the Tower of Babel, there is also the opportunity he wants. This is his last chance to rise. At this moment, he suddenly thought that Nangong Chen also wanted to enter the Tower of Babel. Could it be that he also had this purpose? Su Outyen thought about it and then shook his head. It's impossible, absolutely impossible. Only Master and I know about this matter. Unless the Master tells Nangong Chen about this is obviously impossible. Master would never harm him, but he promised to take Master back from Nangong Chen in the future. Dean Kong. Am I now qualified to enter the Tower of Babel? Nangong Chen asked, looking at Kong Daoyun. I am not a man who goes back on his word. Since you have done it, you are naturally qualified to enter. Kong Daoyun stroked his beard, his white eyebrows widened, and he spoke. Today, Nangong Chen defeated the genius of his academy. Although he was willing to let Nangong Chen in, he had no choice. If he broke his promise, Tianyuan Mansion would probably cause trouble for him. Open! Kong Daoyun shouted as he looked at the extremely ancient tower on the square. Suddenly, a terrifying divine light burst out from the lifeless Tower of Babel, as if something was about to awaken from it. When everyone saw it, they were also shocked. The last time the Tower of Babel was opened was a few years ago. Every time the Tower of Babel was opened, the deans seemed to fall into weakness. This is why you need to be qualified to enter. Soon, a portal opened in the Tower of Babel. Kong Daoyun said weakly, Go in. Thank you, senior. Nangong Chen clasped his hands and then strode in. When everyone saw Nangong Chen go in, they all looked expectant. The geniuses who had entered the Tower of Babel before couldn't make it past the 60th floor. I don't know if Nangong Chen can break through. Everyone is extremely curious about the origin of the Tower of Babel. Some people said that it was built by a powerful alien, and the opponents encountered inside were evolved from the enemies he had encountered. Others said that this was an ancient heritage, and if one could break through to the 100th floor, there would be unexpected opportunities. Although people had different opinions, they all firmly believed that if they could get through the 100th level, there would definitely be changes. Young Master has such a strong talent. Breaking any record is no easy task. Yes, I even think that the young master can make it through the 100th floor. The female disciples of Tianyuan Academy were extremely enthusiastic at this time and spoke one after another. Although Nangong Chen is so powerful, it is estimated that he can only reach the 60th floor. As for wanting to break into the 100th floor, it is really a foolish dream. Even the ancient geniuses and monsters have never been able to break through. The male disciple standing by sneered after hearing this. Obviously, they still didn't think Nangong Chen could reach that level. After hearing this, the others obviously agreed with what these male disciples said. I think these women are too fanatical. Even if Nangong Chen has 9th grade talent, he can't be more evil than the ancient geniuses. After hearing what they said, Wang Yuxuan showed a hint of disdain on her pure and fair face. Humph, I'm gonna slap you in the face later. Don't you think it hurts enough? Su Outyen was sweating profusely at this moment. He always had a premonition that Nangong Chen would take away the opportunity that belonged to him. That shouldn't be the case. He must be just trying to break into the Tower of Babel this time. Chapter 34. Take it in your pocket and change the world. Tower of Babel. The inside of the tower was pitch black, like an ancient Roman battlefield. The moment Nangong Chen stepped in, the bonfire was lit, and a burly figure walked out from the wall. Nangong Chen's eyes lit up, and his double pupils seemed to be able to see through all illusions, and he could see the figure clearly. The Quishan giant tribe? Nangong Chen said to himself. The giant in front of him was extremely burly, about 10 meters tall, with palms as thick as tree trunks, and an aura of death emanating from his whole body. Obviously, he had no self-awareness. Die! Suddenly, when the giant's eyes swept over Nangong Chen, his body seemed to be stimulated, revealing a coldness, and then rushed towards Nangong Chen. Nangong Chen slapped out with one palm, and all the spiritual energy in the sky gathered and turned into a giant golden palm, which pressed directly towards the giant with great power. In an instant, a pool of blood mist appeared. A giant in the early stage of Linghai realm was killed instantly by Nangong Chen. That's all. Nangong Chen's eyes flashed, and then he stepped forward to the second level. Another palm strike came down, and the creature in front of him turned into a pool of blood mist. Nangong Chen was extremely fast and reached the 56th floor in just one stick of incense. At this moment, after seeing this, the people outside also widened their eyes in disbelief. I seem to remember that it took a true disciple at least an hour to reach the 50th floor. Yeah, it feels like he went straight up without encountering any obstacles. Could it be that this Tower of Babel has not been used for too long, causing problems? Everyone was talking, obviously not believing it. After seeing this scene, Kong Daoyun snorted coldly. Is there a problem with the Tower of Babel? Are you questioning me? I dare not. After hearing this, the disciples who had just raised the question also lowered their heads and looked a little ashamed. Turned out that there was nothing wrong with the Tower of Babel. It was simply because Nangong Chen was too evil that they had misunderstood. How short-sighted. It's obvious that the master is too powerful. How ignorant. Wang Yuxuan said in a low voice when she saw this, and then continued to focus her attention on the Tower of Babel. Su Li did not say anything. Her beautiful face, like an immortal, just stared at the Tower of Babel quietly with a curious look in her eyes. Is there any opportunity in the Tower of Babel that's worth him coming all the way here? She was very clever and guessed many things. Nangong Chen definitely couldn't have come here just for her. When Su Outyen, who was in the crowd, saw this scene, he clenched his hands secretly and felt more and more uneasy. Damn it! How could he get in so quickly? No, after he gets out, I'm going to get in too. In the Tower of Babel, Nangong Chen killed an extraterritorial demon with one punch and also reached the 80th floor. On the 80th floor, a figure walked out from the wall. Oh, another humanoid creature? Nangong Chen thought to himself, but when he looked up and saw the person clearly, his face was a little shocked. This person turned out to be Hong Tian, whom he had killed. At this time, Hong Tian was in his middle age. He was wearing a green robe and was surrounded by a hazy aura, just like a real living person. Kill! Hong Tian was stunned for a moment after seeing Nangong Chen, and then he rushed towards Nangong Chen with bloodshot eyes as if he was being controlled. Nangong Chen suppressed his emotions and stepped forward to fight. No wonder Hong Tian asked Su Outyen to come to the Tower of Babel. It seems that the second half of the burning art is in this level. If he had not met him, it would have been difficult for Su Outyen to master the second half of the burning technique with the help of Hong Tian in the ring. Hong Tian. Nangong Chen tried to call out to see if there would be any unexpected gains. Hong Tian, who had a murderous look on his face just now, regained clarity in his eyes after hearing someone calling him, "Who are you?" But in a moment, Hong Tian's eyes turned blood red again, and he attacked Nangong Chen with a move. "Kill me, quick!" Seeing this, Nangong Chen did not hesitate and threw a punch with the Emperor Fist. Since the other party is in this state and cannot communicate normally, it is better to kill him and see what happens. Although he had some doubts in his mind, why was Hong Tian in the Tower of Babel? Who was the owner of the Tower of Babel? Hong Tian used his hand to summon a tortoise shield phantom to block it. Oh! Feeling that he couldn't kill it with one punch, Nangong Chen couldn't help but look at it a few times. It turns out that he is at the level of great power. No wonder he was not killed with one punch. Nangong Chen thought thoughtfully, his heavenly Emperor Fist just now could kill a kid with one punch. However, if he is at the powerful level, I don't know if he can take my punch. Golden energy and blood surged all over Nangong Chen's body, and the shadow of a dragon and elephant behind him condensed into a mountain, as if it could crush the heaven and earth, and millions of dragon and elephant particles burst out from his body. Obviously, Nangong Chen was using the dragon-elephant prison-suppressing power. What's terrifying is that the opponent that Nangong Chen defeated before was killed with just his physical strength and one punch. No matter which era this was, he would be a monster. Come back to your senses. The huge force of a dragon-elephant weighing tens of millions of pounds fell down, carrying the power of the Emperor of Heaven's Fist. Hong Tian was unable to react for a moment, and stood there in a daze and was directly killed by a punch. Before Hong Tian died, the corners of his mouth twitched, and he actually looked at Nangong Chen and said something silently. At this moment, his eyes were extremely clear, but with a sense of relief. Nangong Chen understood what he meant and read those words. The second half of the burning technique is under the pillar. Also, there is a great opportunity on the 100th floor. Thinking of Hong Tian's last look, Nangong Chen was a little dazed. Could it be that he mistook him for Su Outyen? A smile appeared on Nangong Chen's lips. If Hong Tian knew that I not only killed him but also took away the opportunity he left for Su Outyen, would he be so angry that he couldn't sleep in the underworld? If the plot were to follow normally, Su Outyen would probably take the Tianyuan spirit tablet away after getting the second half of the burning decree, and then develop for a while before coming back for revenge. But now all your opportunities are in my hands. Is the luck you have left enough to keep you alive? Ahahaha. Nangong Chen felt a surge of satisfaction in his heart. Then he walked to a pillar and stepped lightly on the ground. Suddenly, a brick flew into the air, revealing an ancient book buried underneath. Is it really here? Nangong Chen's eyes flashed with a sharp light, and he waved his hand. A breeze blew past, blowing away the dust on the ancient book. The large characters "Burning Decree Next Step" appeared. Nangong Chen sent a divine thought down to confirm that it was correct, and then put it into the storage ring. After doing everything, Nangong Chen seemed to have thought of something. A wicked smile appeared on the corner of his mouth, and he took out a copy of the Sunflower Manual. He erased the large characters on it and changed it into the burning decision. He then placed it under the stone pillar and covered it with bricks and tiles. Everything was back to normal, and no trace could be seen. Afterwards, Nangong Chen did not stop, but walked like a dragon and a tiger, continuing to move upwards. Chapter 35 Holy Armor with Double Eyes. At this moment, a huge uproar had already started outside the Tower of Babel. Everyone stared at the light spot above the Tower of Babel with wide eyes, unable to calm down for a long time. 80 floors. This has obviously broken the best record since the establishment of Tianyuan Academy. Moreover, The speed of breaking through the tower is unprecedented and will never be surpassed. No one had ever seen such an incredible speed of breaking through the tower. It only took 2/4 of an hour to reach the 80th floor, while the last person who reached the 60th floor, Zhou Wanjie, took an hour. Compared to this, it's not unfair that Zhou Wanjie lost to Nangong Chen. Kong Daoyun even stroked his beard, his eyes full of brilliance. There were geniuses in ancient times who had passed the 80th level, but there were probably not many who were so fast. I just don't know if this kid can make it to the 100th floor, which is a level that even the evildoers in ancient times have never reached. Thinking of this, he shook his head. This is really too difficult. It's not that he looks down on Nangong Chen. On the contrary, he admires Nangong Chen very much. However, Nangong Chen's current cultivation level has a flaw. If he stops at the 90-something level, it should be reasonable. Looking at the young master's momentum, I think he can even sprint to above the 90th floor. Yeah, this speed is incredible. It's really like a monster. It seems that from today onwards, the number 1 on the Great Zhou Tianjiao ranking will have to change its name. At this moment, these male disciples sighed. They were a little dissatisfied with Nangong Chen before, but now they have to submit even if they are dissatisfied. These female disciples became more and more fanatical, squeezing their legs together and shouting the name of the young master. You have to know that this is a female disciple of Tianyuan Academy. In the Great Zhou Dynasty, she is like many royal princesses or eldest daughters of the family. However, this also indirectly reflects Nangong Chen's popularity, which is simply terrifying. After seeing this, Wang Yuxuan was also a little jealous. TSK, I was here first. Afterwards, she joined the group of female disciples and shouted even louder and harder. Su Li saw this scene in the audience stands and couldn't help laughing. Is this still the eldest daughter of the Wang family that she knows? But my husband is really popular. Thinking of this, a cold light flashed in her beautiful eyes, as if she was angry. Come back to your senses. Everyone discovered that Nangong Chen seemed to have been stuck on the 80th floor for some time. It wasn't very long, but compared to his previous speed of breaking through the levels, there was some difference. This also made some people jump out. It seems that Nangong Chen had used all his strength to break through the previous levels, which is why he was stuck at the 80th level for so long. I'm afraid he will be able to come down soon. Yeah, I don't know what you're bragging about. He even broke through the 100th floor. If he could break through to the 90th floor, I'd stand on my head and eat shit. It turned out that these people were the ones who had supported Zhou Wanjie before. At this moment, they looked cold and spoke with disdain. Su Aoyin couldn't help but smile when he saw that there were people like him who wanted to harm Nangong Chen. Ha 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 ha. Nangong Chen has run out of energy. It seems that he is just a clown for trying to catch people's attention with such a fast speed. What an idiot! If it were me, I would never do such a thing. Now he felt relieved. He was sure that Nangong Chen must not know about the opportunity in the Tower of Babel. I've remembered all of you, including the guy who just ate and drank for free. Wang Yuxuan's little face was full of anger, and she said through gritted teeth. Soon, these people were stunned. Their pupils shrank slightly, as if they had seen something incredible. I saw that the light spot on the 80th floor of the Tower of Babel began to move at an extremely fast speed. In just a few breaths, it reached the 90th floor. The entire square fell silent in an instant. Not long after, everyone slowly spoke. Damn, this is a monster. Why does it feel like breaking through the Tower of Babel is as easy as drinking water for him? Where's the one who said he'd cheat me out of food and drinks? I'm going to the toilet now to get you some fresh shit. Everyone exclaimed in shock, then looked around, trying to find the disciple who had said he wanted to eat shit. Unfortunately, after seeing this, the disciple fled in panic. At the same time, Kong Daoyun was even more shocked. Others may not know, but he knows that it is not easy to get above the 80th floor. Can be said that there is a huge difference between each floor. The fact that Nangong Chen could get through so easily proves that his true strength is terrifying. Inside the Tower of Babel, after Nangong Chen stepped into the 90th floor, he felt a surge of pressure, as if some ancient creature was about to revive. Suddenly, A fiery red figure flew out from the wall. After Nangong Chen felt the aura on him, he couldn't help but take it seriously. Suanio is also one of the most outstanding creatures among the ancient species. It is rumored that there is a trace of true phoenix blood in its body. It is extremely powerful. At this moment, its cultivation has reached the middle stage of the great power realm. Even this kind of ancient relic appeared, which made Nangong Chen even more curious about who built the Tower of Babel. Phew! This huge black bird was covered in flames. After seeing Nangong Chen, its eyes turned blood red, like a red moon, and attacked Nangong Chen. Nangong Chen's double pupils emitted a faint light, runes were intertwined all over his body, and golden blood energy suddenly burst out, and he punched towards Suanio. The white fist light could pierce the sky. A white figure appeared behind Nangong Chen at the same time and punched together. Boom! Although the Suanio was extremely fast, its speed was useless in front of Chongtong. It was directly knocked away by Nangong Chen's punch, falling against the wall and raising a cloud of dust. Hiss! Suanio felt pain all over its body, and the pain made it even angrier. The flames on its feathers became brighter, like blood. It was concentrating on a move, and its aura became turbulent. Nangong Chen also realized it. Another kind of light burst out from his double pupils, and a platinum-colored armor appeared on his body. This was the third function of the double pupils, the double pupil holy armor, which could summon armor that was extremely suitable for him to fight. It can even be attached to the shadow behind you. The shadow of the Emperor of Heaven behind Nangong Chen was also wearing the same armor as Nangong Chen. Suddenly, the aura surged and reached an extremely terrifying level. Even in Xuanfeng's eyes, there was some fear. Boom! Xianfeng took action, and 9 suns evolved, smashing towards Nangong Chen with a destructive force. If an ordinary powerful being receives this punch, he will either die or be injured. Even a god king will have to pay a huge price if he receives it. Emperor Fist. Nangong Chen threw a punch, and his fist emitted divine light. The shadow of the Emperor of Heaven behind him also threw a punch, and the void was shaking. It brought with it an overwhelming pressure, which was even more shocking than Xuanfeng's 9 scorching suns. This was not just a simple punch, but a combination of the divine elephant prison-suppressing power, the helmet of double pupils, and the god-level heavenly Emperor Fist. Boom! With this punch, the 9 scorching suns were directly annihilated, along with the mysterious wind, and turned into rain of light and dissipated. Chapter 36, entering the 100th floor and meeting Gu Nan. After killing Xianfeng, Nangong Chen was like a god of war, pushing forward all the way and directly reaching the last level. That is 100 floors. The 100th floor of the Tower of Babel was a scene of nothingness and chaos. It was not like the previous 99 floors, which were located in the middle of a battlefield. Instead, it seemed to be outside the starry sky at the edge of the universe. Nangong Chen concentrated and was extremely cautious. He knew that this place was extremely dangerous, like a small world opened up by a strong man. Soon, this world seemed to sense something. The light was shining brightly, the rules were intertwined, and an extremely terrifying aura seemed to awaken. After so many years, someone finally sets foot in this world. A sigh sounded in the long river of time. Nangong Chen was shocked and looked back, only to see a middle-aged man standing behind him. The middle-aged man was dressed in a gray robe, had a resolute face, and an extremely elegant temperament, just like a teacher. And from what Nangong Chen saw through his double pupils, he could see that this man had an energy beyond this world in his body, which was extremely shocking. Nangong Chen immediately confirmed that the person in front of him was definitely an absolutely powerful person. The legendary double pupils are indeed extremely enchanting. It seems that our Tianyuan Academy is full of talented people in this world. The man said, looking at Nangong Chen with a look of satisfaction in his eyes. After hearing this, Nangong Chen also hurriedly said respectfully, "Junior Nangong Chen, greetings to the senior." He had some guesses in his mind. Could this peerless expert be the first-generation dean of Tianyuan Academy? Nangong. After hearing Nangong Chen's words, The middle-aged man was stunned, as if he was reminiscing. After a long while, he finally spoke. So it's the Nangong family. No wonder such a monster came from them. And you're right. I am indeed the first dean of Tianyuan Academy. My name is Gu Nan. You can call me Dean Gu. Gu Nan continued. Nangong Chen nodded after hearing this, feeling a little scared. Turns out he knew what I was thinking. This kind of strong man is really scary. Do you know why I founded Tianyuan Academy? Nangong Chen shook his head. How would he know? Because I used to live at the bottom of the Shentian domain. Although I had some talent, my family background was weak, so I couldn't compete with those powerful families for training places. At that time, I wondered if I could create an academy that even the poorest people in the world could attend if I became stronger in the future. Later, after going through countless hardships, I accidentally obtained the Tianyuan spiritual steel. I gained its fortune, cultivated its inheritance, and practiced hard for 1,000 years before finally emerging into the world and establishing this Tianyuan Academy. Gun sighed and spoke softly. There was some shock in Nangong Chen's eyes. He didn't expect that such a strong man in front of him actually came from a humble family. He thought of Hong Tian's memories in his mind. It seemed that several epochs ago, Tianyuan Academy seemed to have encountered an accident and disappeared from the entire East Shenzhou. Are you trying to ask me why the area behind Tianyuan Academy suddenly disappeared? Gunan's eyes were extremely deep, as if he could see through Nangong Chen's thoughts. Nangong Chen nodded. In the Shentian territory, resources are like a glass of water. The water will flow to whoever takes more. At that time, the Tianyuan Academy was too powerful. Many powerful people from humble backgrounds emerged. Even many geniuses from other states in the Shentian territory came here to admire its reputation. Although this was a good thing, it was tantamount to stirring up many people's water. What would you think if someone touched your resources? As Gunan spoke, he looked at Nangong Chen. Kill, Nangong Chen said without hesitation. Gunan was also expecting this when he heard it, and he smiled. That's right, they killed us. Those so-called righteous people framed us for a false crime and then massacred our academy. Of course, our academy is no pushover. If someone wants to kill me, I must kill them back. That day, I killed 5 saints, and they were so frightened that they rained blood all over eastern Shenzhou. If it weren't for those old monsters from central Shenzhou who showed up later, When Gu Nin said this, he snorted coldly, with a hint of coldness in his eyes. There was some shock in Nangong Chen's eyes. He didn't expect such a thing to happen that year. If I had a few more years, those old monsters wouldn't be my match. It's a pity that my fuel was exhausted by then, and I had no choice but to exchange my life for theirs. And my academy disciples were also brutally massacred. Although I dispersed some core disciples throughout the Shentian territory before the war, I still don't know whether they are dead or alive. Sigh. Gunan sighed and fell silent. Nangong Chen was also silent, not knowing how to answer. In fact, I already have the answer in my heart. When the nest is overturned, how can the eggs remain intact? Forget it. Let's not talk about those sad things. Boy, can you tell me how Tianyuan Academy is doing now? Nangong Chen thought for a moment and said calmly, the first academy under the dynasty. After hearing this, Gu Nin also felt a little complicated. The first academy under the dynasty, it is good to listen to. At that time, Tianyuan Academy did not belong to any force. Has it come to this point now? Alas, times have changed. It's good enough to be able to gain a foothold now. Thinking of this, he looked relieved. Back then, I left behind 2 inheritances. The other inheritance must have been taken away by your current academy master, and the other inheritance is the core inheritance. It has been kept in the Tongtian Tower until today. The key to the core inheritance is this Tianyuan spiritual steel. The mysteries within it have plagued me my entire life, and I haven't even unearthed 1,000th of it. It's just the tip of the iceberg. After hearing this, although Nangong Chen looked calm, ripples had already appeared in his heart. Just 1,000th, the tip of the iceberg, can create an almost invincible saint. Then this Tianyuan Lingbei must be a heaven-defying opportunity. Seeing that Nangong Chen was a little moved, Gu Nen showed a hidden smile at the corner of his mouth. If you can agree to one of my conditions, not only can you take this Tianyuan spiritual steel away, but you can also bring Tianyuan Academy under your command. In another inheritance, I set a very critical requirement, which is to obey the orders of those who have the Tianyuan spiritual tablet. You should know that although the current Tianyuan Academy is not as good as before, it still has some Taoist skills in cultivating geniuses. If you accept them as your subordinate, you can also secretly cultivate your own confidence and power within the academy. After hearing this, Nangong Chen calmed down and looked indifferent. Although what he said was very tempting, his conditions should be very harsh, so we should look at it rationally. Anyway, whether he gets this Tianyuan spiritual steel or not, he will be able to stand at the top in the future and be invincible in the world. So now it seems that it doesn't matter whether you get it or not. After seeing this, Gu Nen secretly admired it in his heart. This boy's character is truly remarkable. He is neither arrogant nor impatient, neither lazy nor slow. He has none of the arrogant personalities of other geniuses. Chapter 37. Conquering Tianyuan Academy. Of course, this request is very simple. I have a daughter. Before the war began, I sealed her in an ice coffin. Now, after several epochs, she should be awake. If you meet her in the future, just take care of her for me. At this moment, a hint of tenderness appeared in Gu Nan's deep eyes, and his expression was extremely gentle. After hearing this, Nangong Chen also waited over and then agreed. Okay, if I meet the senior's daughter in the future, I will definitely take good care of her. This request is not excessive, it's just to take care of his daughter. If I meet you in the future, I will take care of you. If not, then forget it. Yes, with your promise, I feel relieved. Gu Nen nodded, and looked at Nangong Chen with more and more satisfaction, as if he was choosing a son-in-law. Nangong Chen felt a little uncomfortable being looked at like that, but he didn't feel any ill will from him. It's a very strange feeling. My name is Gu Mengling. I have a birthmark on my left buttock. As for the rest, I have almost forgotten it. If you meet her, please tell her that the dead cannot be resurrected, so cherish the present. Father and mother love you very much. Don't think about revenge for us. Our greatest wish is for you to grow up peacefully and worry-free throughout your life. Even if she has forgotten what happened before, you don't need to tell her. Gu Nen explained slowly that at this moment, he was no different from other fathers in the world. Nangong Chen listened carefully. Seeing Gu Nen in front of him, he couldn't help but think of his father in this life. If I encounter such a situation in the future, my father will probably do the same. After Gu Nen finished speaking, his soul became more and more ethereal, as if it would dissipate at any time. Senior, you, Nangong Chen said with some concern. It's okay. It's a cycle of life and death. Besides, I've already died once, so I've become indifferent to it. Once this spirit dissipates, the Tianyuan spiritual steel will naturally appear, and you can just take it away then. Ha 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 ha. Kid, you've been fooled by me. Even if you regret it now, it's too late. You look like a brat, but I tricked you in the end, didn't I? Ha ha ha, I won in the end. I, the sage of Gunan, won in the end. Gu Nen laughed loudly, with a look of relief and freedom in his eyes. His figure gradually dissipated and turned into star rain. Then, a milky white spiritual tablet appeared in front of Nangong Chen. Nangong Chen was silent. His mood was extremely complicated and he was speechless. A long time. Senior Gu Nan, go with peace of mind. I will never forget what I promised you. Nangong Chen muttered to himself, then put away the Tianyuan Lingbei, bowed slightly, turned and left. In fact, he was tricked twice. Outside, everyone was so shocked that they were speechless when they saw Nangong Chen coming out. Their faces were filled with fanaticism and their eyes were filled with admiration, as if they were looking at a legend. At this moment, both the elders and disciples were convinced by Nangong Chen. 100 floors. This is the 100th floor of the Tower of Babel. From ancient times to the present, no one has been able to break through, but today, they saw such a person who broke through from the first floor to the 100th floor alive. directly breaking the record of the Tower of Babel. Wang Yuxuan waved her fists and was very excited when she saw Nangong Chen coming out. Su Li also nodded secretly, with some surprise in her beautiful eyes. Only Su Outyen looked pale. He had not expected that Nangong Chen could actually reach the 100th floor. Why? How could a mere dandy disciple break through to the 100th level? He couldn't figure it out. It seems that the gap between him and Nangong Chen is getting bigger. Kong Daoyun quickly came to Nangong Chen, his eyes filled with shock, and asked, "What did you get in there?" "There are rumors that there is a great opportunity on the 100th floor of the Tower of Babel, or it is a great opportunity related to Tianyuan Academy." He was very curious, yet also a little nervous. If Nangong Chen really got that inheritance, wouldn't that be? Nangong Chen's mouth twitched, and he slowly uttered a few words. Tianyuan spiritual steel. He did not take out the Tianyuan Lingbei as it was too conspicuous. Besides, what if this treasure was snatched away by the old man in front of him? Who knows whether the contract has expired? After hearing this, Kong Daoyun's pupils shrank slightly, and then he sighed, somewhat helplessly. "There are too many people here. Let's talk somewhere else." Then, Kong Daoyun waved his hand. A white light appeared, and the two figures disappeared in the square. When the people in the square saw this, they were not surprised and their eyes were filled with envy. "I guess Nangong Chen will be accepted as a disciple by the dean." Yes. His performance today was really too brilliant. The Academy's true disciples were defeated, and the Tower of Babel broke through its limits. No matter which one of these events is mentioned, it is an extremely shocking thing. On top of a mountain filled with fairy air. "Young master, can I see the Tianyuan spiritual steel?" Kong Daoyun said with a fiery look in his eyes. Nangong Chen had some concerns and did not take it out directly. Kong Daoyun seemed to see his concerns and said with a smile, "You may not know that if the Tianyuan spiritual steel recognizes its owner, no one can take it away unless the original owner dies." Nangong Chen thought about it, and in a flash, a milky white spiritual tablet appeared in his hand. This is the legendary Tianyuan Lingbei. When Kong Daoyun saw this, his eyes were filled with excitement and he knelt on the ground. "My name is Kong Daoyun, and I'm honored to meet you, Dean." At this moment, if anyone saw this scene, they would probably be scared to death. A saint kneels down to Nangong Chen. Nangong Chen shook his head. He didn't want to be the dean, even though the Tianyuan spiritual steel was in his possession. "No, I'm not interested in the position of dean. You can continue to be the dean in the future, but you need to obey my orders." Kong Daoyun was a little surprised. He didn't expect Nangong Chen to refuse such a sought-after position. This is Tianyuan Academy. Even though the academy is now somewhat declining, it was still the #1 academy in Shentian domain a few epochs ago. Thinking of this, he felt a little touched. He didn't expect that Nangong Chen didn't deprive him of his position immediately. After all, he had put a lot of effort into establishing the academy. As for obeying Nangong Chen, this was only natural. He had already thought about the consequences since the day he accepted the inheritance. That's for sure. Even if the young master takes back my position as dean, I will still obey you, Kong Daoyun said respectfully. Nangong Chen nodded, his eyes flashing, obviously thinking about something. In this academy, how many descendants of the current imperial family are here? Nangong Chen asked after a long time. Kong Daoyun was also a little surprised after hearing this. After thinking for a while, he said respectfully, "Young master, it accounts for 30% of the disciples in the academy, more than 5,000 people." There was some shock in Nangong Chen's eyes. He didn't expect so much. Then a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. If they were all persuaded to rebel, I'm sure the king of Zhou would be very happy. Nangong Chen has never been a good person. Anyone who wants to kill him is his mortal enemy and must be prepared to be killed by him. Where are the disciples from poor families? Nangong Chen continued to ask. As for the disciples from poor families, there are more than 6 floors, about 10,000 people. Kong Daoyun continued. He was a little confused and didn't know what Nangong Chen was asking for. There are so many. Nangong Chen was somewhat shocked. It was indeed an academy known as a holy place for the poor. If these poor disciples were sent to Tianyuan Mansion after graduation, wouldn't there be a continuous supply of talents? What do these poor disciples usually do after they graduate? Well, some returned to their families to serve them, while others were assigned to various places to serve the court. After hearing this, Nangong Chen couldn't help but raise his eyebrows, seeming a little angry. Kong Daoyun quickly explained, "Young master, this is the strict rule of the imperial court. When we opened a school in the Great Zhou, we would be subject to its restrictions. The same is true for other academies. In the future, the number of people sent to the court will be reduced by 90%. As for the remaining 90%, they will be sent to my Tianyuan Mansion. If the court has any objections, they can come to Tianyuan Mansion. I wonder if they have the courage," Nangong Chen said coldly. After hearing this, Kong Daoyun nodded frantically like a chick pecking at rice. Chapter 38 9 Heaven's Secret Realm. At the same time, without anyone noticing, a black figure quietly slipped into the Tower of Babel. "That's right, this person is our destined son Su Outyen. Ha ha ha, you bunch of idiots. You didn't expect that I could sneak in and see Nangong Chen." Nangong Chen. Su Outyen laughed, with a vegetable leaf on his yellow teeth, looking very disgusting. Whenever he thought of Nangong Chen, he couldn't help but feel jealous. If Nangong Chen had not appeared repeatedly to interrupt his plans, he would have already become a favored child of destiny admired by thousands of people. How could he be so miserable now? Fortunately, his hard work paid off, and he was able to sneak into the Tower of Babel without being discovered by anyone. "Nangong Chen, wait until I get the second half of the burning decree, and then you'll just wait for death." Su Outyen gritted his teeth and said secretly, "As for this Tower of Babel, even Nangong Chen can break into the 100th floor, so he can at least break into the 99th floor." Then, Su Outyen stepped into the first floor with a determined look. A few hours later, within 80 floors, Su Outyen's clothes became more and more tattered, and his face looked a little weak. He didn't expect that the Tower of Babel would be so difficult to break into. If it weren't for his own strong strength and the fact that his previous trump cards saved his life several times, he would have died long ago. Fortunately, he broke through to the Purple Mansion realm at the critical moment of life and death, which can be considered a blessing in disguise. Ha ha ha! Fortunately, I finally succeeded in getting the second half of the burning decree. Su Outyen laughed with his hands raised to the sky. However, when Nangong Chen came out, he didn't have any injuries on his body, and his white clothes were not torn. It must be that the damn dean gave him a backdoor. Only at this moment did he realize that the higher one went in the Tower of Babel, the greater the dangers one would encounter, and it was not as easy as he had initially thought. Su Outyen came to his senses and looked down at the stone pillar. The next step of the burning technique is right here. Ha 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 ha. Thinking of this, a wicked smile appeared on his face. That idiot Nangong Chen definitely didn't know that the test on the 80th floor was actually given by my master, and he would never have thought that there was a super martial arts technique hidden here. Su Outyen slapped his palm downwards, and a piece of brick and tile shattered directly, perfectly exposing the martial arts technique underneath. After seeing it, Su Outyen's face lit up with joy and he picked up the ancient book. Is this the lower form of the burning decision? It's indeed filled with an ancient aura. Su Outyen's eyes flashed with a gleam of light, and he couldn't wait to turn it over, his saliva almost dripping from his mouth. Page 1. If you want to practice this skill, you must first castrate yourself. When Su Outyen saw these words, he was stunned. To practice the lower form of the burning technique, he even had to castrate himself. Isn't this depriving him of his dignity as a man? However, the burning technique is a technique of extremely high quality, so if there are some special requirements, it should be reasonable. It's not like he hadn't seen some powerful ancient martial arts before, and the requirements for them were very strange. Thinking of this, Su Outyen looked a little hesitant. Did he really want to castrate himself? I don't know if I can pick it up after I finish practicing. Just as he was hesitating, Nangong Chen's hateful face suddenly came to his mind, and he became furious. It's all your fault, Nangong Chen. I want revenge. He decided that losing something was nothing for the sake of revenge. Su Outyen took out a broadsword, his face pale. Then he closed his eyes, gritted his teeth, and swung it directly below him. Ah! In an instant, howling like a pig being slaughtered filled the entire space. Nangong Chen, I will not be a human being if I don't kill you in this life. Tianyuan Mansion. What did you say? Recently, there has been a strange phenomenon of divine light rising into the sky and purple air coming from the east above the battlefield in the Northern Territory. Nangong Yu asked in surprise. Nangong Zhan nodded. Yes, this strange phenomenon has appeared. Even the friction between us and the Dacian dynasty has been inevitable recently. The other party seems to be trying to stop the war. I don't know what they are doing. A few years ago, I heard that the Northern Territory was once a blessed land, where an almighty powerful being once existed. Nangong Yu said in a deep voice, with some reminiscence on his old face. How is that possible? The Northern Territory is so desolate. Not only can't people survive there, but even monsters can't survive there. Nangong Zhan raised his eyebrows and retorted. You know shit. When I was venturing into the Northern Territory, you weren't even born yet. Don't I know what the Northern Territory was like before? If I'm not mistaken, the Nine Heavens secret realm is about to open. Nangong Yu snorted coldly and said unhappily, Nine Heavens secret realm? After hearing this, Nangong Zhan stopped what he was about to say and looked a little shocked. It's actually the Nine Heavens secret realm. No wonder so many strange phenomena occur so frequently. Nangong Zhan murmured in a low voice. You must know that the Nine Heavens secret realm was opened up by a supreme being. It is equivalent to the secret realm of that supreme being. The opportunities and treasures in it are all extremely extraordinary. If it is really the Nine Heavens secret realm, we have to notify Chener. Nangong Zhan said, his eyes flashing with a gleam. Nangong Yu nodded. Yes, Chener should be close to reaching the great power realm now. This time of training will be of great help to him. During their conversation, the two had already decided where Nangong Chen would go. Within a few days, the news that the Nine Heavens secret realm had opened in East Shenzhou spread throughout the entire Xintian domain. The Nine Heavens secret realm is a treasure left behind by a powerful person. It has a certain appeal to the top sects in the Xintian realm, not to mention those first-rate forces. For a time, the more than 30 divine states in the entire Xintian domain were all in full swing. Obviously, this will be a grand gathering of geniuses, and a good opportunity for the major sects to compete for their offspring. Tianyuan Academy. After hearing Mu Lao's voice transmission, Nangong Chen's eyes also became enlightened. It turned out that a meeting was about to be held in a secret place in the Northern Territory, and the family wanted him to go there. Ding! Go to the core of the Nine Heavens secret realm to sign in. At this moment, a cold voice sounded in Nangong Chen's mind. The Nine Heavens secret realm? Nangong Chen had some impression of Hong Tian's memory. He heard that there was a treasure in it, which was extremely important to him and could build an unparalleled foundation in the Purple Mansion realm. If that's the case, then why shouldn't I go? I also heard that there are a lot of geniuses from various states coming here this time, and I don't know if there will be any new leaks. Nangong Chen's eyes flashed and a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Chapter 39. Empress Qi Yao. Tianyuan Academy. In an elegant and beautiful courtyard. Su Li felt a little uncomfortable in the stands, so she returned to her yard early. On the ice bed, at this moment, Su Li's beautiful eyes were closed. Her beautiful face was extremely pale. Cold sweat appeared on her white forehead, as if she was enduring great pain. Ah, damn it! Why did this dream appear in the daytime? Su Li felt extremely uncomfortable all over, and his soul felt as if it was being cut by a knife. She dreamed of the woman in red again. Lately, whenever she closed her eyes at night, a memory that did not belong to her would be forced into her mind. At first she thought it was a dream, until every detail in the dream became so real that even the insights she gained in the dream were reflected in reality. Empress Qi Yao, who are you? In those blurry fragments, this woman named Qi Yao, with just a wave of her hand, destroyed the sun, and shook the heaven and earth. She was so powerful that it was unbelievable. The creatures fighting against her were also powerful and had extraordinary skills. Su Li was full of confusion. Her head was splitting, and her body was trembling. Anyone who saw her would feel worried and pity for her. Soon, as the pain intensified, Su Li fainted. If Nangong Chen came here at this moment, he would be able to clearly see that a soul was about to merge into Su Li's consciousness. A long time. Hey, I in this life am awake? Su Li opened her eyes hazily, and a charming and numbing voice sounded in her ears. Who is it? After reacting, Su Li quickly turned around to look, until Su Li saw a woman in red lying lazily on her bed. The woman was wearing a phoenix skirt. Her skin was as white as cream and as white as fresh snow. Her breasts were half exposed. Her legs were straight and long. Her figure was well proportioned, and she was extremely hot. Beneath her jet-black hair lies a breathtakingly beautiful face, with eyes like autumn water, charming and alluring red lips, and a natural allure. She is a true stunner. When Su Li saw it, she was stunned, but she quickly reacted. Who are you? Why are you in my bed? Su Li asked coldly. Who am I? I am you. Qiao smiled, her voice extremely charming. Su Li was a little confused after hearing this. She frowned slightly and took a few steps back unconsciously. She couldn't see through this person's aura. It was very dangerous. After seeing this scene, Qiao also found it very interesting, and smiled sweetly with curved eyebrows. Is my life really so interesting? Then she explained with a smile. After a while, Su Li's pretty face showed a look of realization. It turned out that after Qiao died for some reason in her previous life, she had a treasure attached to her body and had only recently awakened. In other words, you are my previous life and the person I have been dreaming about recently? Su Li asked coldly. That's right. Qiao stretched lazily and spoke. After Su Li heard this, his eyes turned cold and he swung his sword directly. If it weren't for this person, why would she be in so much pain recently? The sword did not cut Qiao, but passed through her body, just like cutting a shadow. Qiao seemed to have expected this. Her eyebrows were still curved and the corners of her mouth were raised. My life is so violent. I am just a spirit, you can't kill me. Oh, Su Li responded indifferently. Anyway, she felt much better after she finished beheading. Are you happy? There will be such a powerful being to guide you in the future. Qiao smiled. She didn't look like an empress at all, but like an older sister. If her subordinates in her previous life saw this scene, they would probably be so shocked that they would be speechless. Is this still the cold-blooded and ruthless Empress Qiao? Su Li looked suspicious. Was this guy really her previous life? Was he really an empress? If I hadn't seen the fragments in my memory, I probably wouldn't have believed it. And why was I so slutty in my previous life? Su Li was speechless and couldn't believe it. Suddenly, Qiao came back into her mind with a whoosh. Someone is coming. She left a message. The next moment, there was a knock on the door. Ma'am, it's me. The voice was magnetic and warm. It was Nangong Chen. After Su Li heard this, her pretty face suddenly turned red. This guy, why is he calling me so intimately in front of others? Don't make any noise later. Su Li warned Qiao in her mind. Then, Su Li did not respond immediately. She hurried to the dressing table to look in the mirror. After she felt that she was fine, she moistened her throat and spoke softly. Come in. After seeing this scene, Qiao's face instantly turned cold. She felt something was wrong when she first sensed that Su Li had lost her vital yin. She never expected that she actually had a Taoist partner in this life. She had countless immortal king suitors in her previous life, but she despised all those ugly ones. She had extremely high standards. Not to mention losing her virginity, she didn't even have a Taoist partner. She wanted to see which boy was so confident that he could take her down in this life. After hearing this, Nangong Chen also pushed the door open and walked in. He was dressed in flowing white robes, with a face like a banished immortal, an extraordinary temperament, and a bright look. Anyone who sees him will sigh. This young master is unparalleled in the world. Do you have something to talk to me about? Su Li looked at Nangong Chen and felt a little shy, which made her think of that night. The two of them were in perfect harmony, and their relationship was a done deal. Nangong Chen did not answer, but was a little dazed. What did he see? Why was Su Li's luck even more dazzling than before? This luck was even stronger than that of the destined protagonist. If he hadn't awakened his double pupils, he probably wouldn't be able to see it. Could it be that Su Li has had any opportunity recently? There was some shock in Qi Yao's beautiful eyes at this moment. This was actually the legendary double pupil. Nangong Chen even possessed a bloodline that was as strong as her own, meaning at least one of his parents had reached a level of cultivation comparable to hers in her previous life. Is this still the pride of the lower realm? For a moment, she couldn't find any fault with Nangong Chen. Qi Yao was silent. Oh, my father recently told me that there is a secret realm in the Northern Territory that is about to open, called the Nine Heavens Secret Realm. I will be going there tomorrow, and I came to ask you, do you want to go with me? Nangong Chen came back to his senses and spoke. Nine Heavens Secret Realm? Su Li was a little confused after hearing this, and for a moment she didn't know whether to go or not. After hearing this, Qi Yao's beautiful eyes gleamed with brilliance, and she quickly said, Go, you must go. The Nine Heavens Secret Realm evolved from a cave left behind by an invincible master. There is a treasure inside called the Phoenix Stone, which will be of great help to you and can completely transform your physique. She didn't expect that the secret place that the entire upper realm had been searching for would actually appear in the lower realm. Then, Nangong Chen continued, I heard from my father that there are many treasures and opportunities in this secret realm. If we can find them, it will benefit us immensely, but it is quite dangerous. I'll go, Su Li said. She didn't want to be left behind by Nangong Chen. She wanted to become stronger. Nangong Chen was a little surprised. He was originally planning to say something else. Well, in that case, take a rest today and follow me tomorrow. Nangong Chen responded with clear eyes. Chapter 40, Dao Xianjing, Qi Yao is shocked. The next day, a dazzling flying boat with interwoven runes flew across the sky above the Great Zhou Dynasty. A ray of light burst out from behind the boat, causing people on the street to marvel at it. On the flying boat, Ding, we have arrived at the Great Zhou Dynasty. Do you want to sign in? Nangong Chen practiced all night until the system prompt sounded in his mind. Sign in. Nangong Chen exhaled a breath of foul air, and a gleam of light flashed in his eyes. I didn't expect that just riding a flying boat could trigger a location check-in. Ding, reward for the divine level technique, the Great Tao Immortal Scripture. As the words fell, a mysterious and profound memory flooded into Nangong Chen's mind. It turned out to be another divine-level martial art. Nangong Chen's eyes flickered, and he was a little shocked. In the Shentian realm, the levels of martial arts are divided into 4 grades. Tiandi, Shenhuang, among which Tian is the highest and Huang is the lowest. The upper limit of the heavenly grade martial arts can only break through to the saint level. If you want to break through to a higher level, you need martial arts that are higher than the heavenly grade. From Hong Tian's memory, we can learn that above the heavenly rank are the saint rank, immortal rank, emperor rank, and divine rank. These are the most powerful skills in the entire 3,000 worlds. It is estimated that there are only a few holy-grade martial arts techniques in the entire Shentian realm, let alone divine-grade martial arts techniques. Those have disappeared even in the upper realm. If one appears, it will probably attract some unborn old monsters to snatch it away. And now, Nangong Chen already has 4 divine-level skills in his hands, which are something that even the top-level sects in the upper realm cannot take out. The Dragon Elephant Prison-Suppressing Power, the Heavenly Emperor Fist, the Yin-Yang Dual Cultivation Technique, and now this Great Tao Immortal Scripture. If they are all extremely heaven-defying skills, and if they can all be mastered, even an ordinary person will have invincible combat power, let alone Nangong Chen who has double pupils. He will reach an ultimate state of being arbitrary and invincible for all eternity. Nangong Chen's eyes flashed, and then he stopped thinking about it and seriously comprehended the Great Tao and Immortal Scriptures. The avenue of the universe, the cycle of life and death, chaos covering the sky, and purple air coming from the east. After Nangong Chen felt these 16 words, he also fell into a state of enlightenment. In the void, there was a faint vision of heavenly blessings, and 5-colored divine light shone brightly. At this moment, in another room, Yao Qi was teaching. Do you know what level this martial arts technique is? Yao Qi took out an ancient book in her hand and looked at Su Li with a smile. Heavenly level? Su Li guessed with some uncertainty in her beautiful eyes. After all, in her understanding, the best martial arts in the entire Shantian realm are the heaven-level martial arts, and even the martial arts she learned since childhood are only earth-level. Qi Yao shook her head and smiled sweetly. This is not a heaven-grade technique. The heaven-grade technique is in our upper realm. It is a technique practiced by common people. Above the heaven-grade technique, there are saint-grade, immortal-grade, emperor-grade, and divine-grade techniques. And this ice sky phoenix art in my hand is a technique that is perfectly suited to your physique. It's a legendary imperial grade technique. If a single sacred technique appeared in your lower realm, everyone would be scrambling to snatch it up. This is the disparity in resources. When you become stronger, you should quickly reach the 9 heavens of the upper realm. That will be your stage. Then, Qi Yao handed her the skills in her hand. I thought Su Li would feel inferior after knowing this, but unexpectedly she said calmly, "Oh, you are a dignified empress. How come you can't even use a divine technique? It seems you are just like this." When Qi Yao heard this, the smile on her lips froze. She secretly clenched her white fists. The roundness of her chest shook slightly, and she was about to burst out with anger. She never imagined that she would be so vicious in this life. Forget it. She's just a little brat. What does she know? I won't bother with her. Do you think it's easy to obtain a divine technique? In my previous life, I only practiced an emperor-level technique. Emperor-level techniques are rare even in the 9 heavens of the upper realm, let alone a divine technique. That would cause a war to break out in the entire upper realm. Qi Yao rolled her eyes and said unhappily, "However, I do know some secrets about divine-grade techniques, such as how practicing them can cause strange phenomena in the heavens and earth, and bring blessings from the heavens. If you are lucky enough to obtain a divine-grade technique in the future, you will be very lucky. However, you will have to wait until you reach the upper realm. It's impossible for god-level skills to appear in the lower realm," Qi Yao said decisively. I couldn't help but think of Nangong Chen. It was strange that the descendant of a great emperor was actually in the lower world. However, his bloodline was sealed. The laws of the lower world could not tolerate such a heaven-defying bloodline. He would probably have to wait until he reached the upper world before his bloodline could be unsealed. By then, his strength will increase dramatically and reach the ranks of the top monsters in the upper realm. Boom! At this moment, a voice erupted from the room in front. Su Li and Qi Yao looked at each other with shocked eyes. The main room in front is Nangong Chen's room. Su Li hurried over to check, but Qi Yao reacted even faster. Her figure flashed, and a glimmer of divine light flashed in her beautiful eyes. When they saw this scene, they were all stunned. Nangong Chen sat cross-legged there with his eyes closed, a misty aura surrounding his body. Ancient and mysterious runes intertwined with each other, emitting brilliant light, just like an ancient sage practicing. And in the sky, the heavens bestowed blessings, and flowing lights flew everywhere. Rays of divine light fell one after another, like the movement of stars, transforming into the interweaving shadows of dragons and phoenixes. This is obviously the highest gift from heaven in the legend, the auspicious combination of dragon and phoenix. How is this possible? Qi Yao covered her lips with her hands, her beautiful phoenix-like eyes filled with disbelief. This is actually a sign of cultivation. Could it be that this boy is practicing a god-level technique? Su Li was silent and looked at Yao Qi deeply. Didn't you just say that there couldn't be a god-level technique in the lower realm? Then what is this? Seeing that Nangong Chen was safe and sound, the two of them retreated back into the room. Ahahaha, I have to say, this kid is really lucky. He even has a god-level martial arts technique. Qi Yao smiled embarrassedly as soon as she came in. Even she had to admit that she had been shocked by that boy since coming to the underworld. She even suspected that Nangong Chen was here in the lower realm for vacation and was just hiding his identity. TSK, the emperor, he doesn't even have a god-level technique, but my husband Zifu has it, Su Li said with some disdain, and then there was some admiration in her eyes. After hearing that she was being despised, Qi Yao couldn't think of anything to defend herself for a moment. She was a little doubtful, was she really in the underworld? Chapter 41, The Mystery of the Tianyuan Spiritual Steel. After a long time, Nangong Chen opened his eyes. The galaxy evolved in his eyes, and his aura continued to rise. It is worthy of being a divine-level cultivation technique. It is much more powerful than the heaven-level technique he practiced before. It is simply like heaven and earth. In just one night, he cultivated to the peak of the Purple Mansion realm. He was suppressing his own cultivation. As long as he wanted, he could break through to the Great Power realm in a moment. However, he did not do so. Since ancient times, the Purple Mansion realm has been a stage for laying the foundation. Some geniuses have rushed through the Purple Mansion realm in pursuit of cultivation speed, and are destined to not go far in the future. However, some geniuses build a supreme foundation in the Purple Mansion realm, laying a good foundation for being invincible in the same level in the future. Such geniuses usually go very far in the future. Basically, the strong people known to Shentian realm are like this. So Nangong Chen also wants to do the same, to build an unparalleled super foundation in the Purple Mansion realm. If it is combined with his double pupils in the future, no genius in the world will be his opponent. As far as he knew, in this Nine Heavens secret realm, there was an object called Hongmeng Dao fruit. This object was extremely extraordinary. It was the Dao fruit that could only be produced after the Hongmeng Mongolian tree had grown for several epochs. Eating this fruit could not only cleanse the bones and marrow, but also improve one's comprehension to an extraordinary level. According to legend, after someone ate it, he or she would advance all the way to an extremely terrifying realm, and even embark on the legendary road to becoming an emperor. Some people even said that eating this thing would grant immortality. This also attracted many terrifying and powerful old monsters to come out and fight for it, and the competition was extremely fierce. Fortunately, the Hongmeng Dao fruit is in the Nine Heavens secret realm this time. There are restrictions in the secret realm, and generally only geniuses can enter. This also gives Nangong Chen a good opportunity. He is determined to obtain the Hongmeng Dao fruit this time, and no one can stop him. Thinking of this, his eyes became deep, his black hair fluttered, and he looked extremely confident. "Mr. Mu," Nangong Chen called softly. The next moment, an old man with an extremely terrifying aura knelt in front of him. It was his protector Mu Shanhe. "How is Su Outyen now?" The people below are keeping a close eye on it. According to the young master, he has learned about the upcoming meeting in the Nine Heavens secret realm and has already set off. He is expected to arrive in 2 days. Mu Lao said respectfully. He could feel that Nangong Chen was now stronger and more domineering than before, and he had the aura of a palace lord, which made him dare not look directly at him. Nangong Chen nodded, his eyes flashing, and then he waved his hand, and Mu Lao's figure disappeared instantly, as if he had never appeared. Yes, my leaks are finally on the move. The reason why he didn't kill Su Outyen was that he had seen with his double pupils that there was still a last ray of brilliance in Su Outyen's destiny, and it was even brighter than before. It must be the last ray of destiny given to him by God. So he designed a plan to let Su Outyen know and lure him to the Nine Heavens secret realm, with the purpose of making him a treasure hunter. Although there are abundant opportunities in the Nine Heavens secret realm, there are also many dangers. If Su Outyen, the treasure-hunting rat, is here at this time, some trouble can be avoided. Nangong Chen didn't think any more about it, and then took out the Tianyuan spiritual steel. Then, a small milky white stone tablet appeared in his palm. It looks quite small. I wonder what kind of incredible opportunity is hidden inside it? Nangong Chen muttered to himself. He scratched his finger and a drop of bright red blood fell. In an instant, the Tianyuan spiritual steel burst into white light, and a profound memory appeared in Nangong Chen's mind. A long time, after Nangong Chen absorbed the memory, A look of realization appeared in his eyes. It turns out that the Tianyuan Lingbei is a magical artifact that assists in cultivation. It contains a small world that can absorb spiritual energy from the outside world and condense it into immortal liquid. The effect of this immortal liquid is incredible. If used on a cultivator, it can speed up the cultivation process. Even if you are a waste, with the blessing of this immortal liquid, you can become a peerless genius. What shocked Nangong Chen the most was that in the small world of the Tianyuan Lingbei, if spiritual plants were cultivated, the growth rate would be accelerated, and countless precious medicines could be cultivated in large quantities. And even some ancient magical medicines and imperial medicines could be copied. Awesome! There were only 2 words in Nangong Chen's mind at this moment. It can not only improve strength, but also sell the elixir to make money. If it is obtained by a grassroots protagonist, I am afraid that the story of 30 years in the East, 30 years in the West will be played out again. Nangong Chen seemed to have thought of something, and a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. It seems that the opportunity he got from coming to Tianyuan Academy this time is really not small, and he is very satisfied. Not only did he gain a saint-level power, but he also got hold of a treasure like the Tianyuan Lingbei. This is all thanks to Su Outyin. I wonder what kind of surprise you can bring me in this 9 heavens secret realm. Nangong Chen looked into the distance with a meaningful look in his eyes. Great Zhou Dynasty. Inside the palace. Do you know why I called you here today? King Zhou said coldly, looking at the girl kneeling below. His eyes were indifferent and his tone was condescending, as if he was ordering a servant. The girl kneeling below heard this and raised her head expressionlessly, saying calmly, I don't know. She was wearing a black long dress, with delicate features and a stunning appearance. She had a very cold temperament and her eyes were as dark as the Dead Sea, without a trace of light. If someone saw this scene at this moment, they would definitely be shocked. Because the girl in the black dress is none other than the 7th princess of the current Great Zhou, Zhou Waner, and also one of the 4 beauties of the Great Zhou. Now that you've become a disciple of the blood demon crone, your assassination skills have become even more refined. Not bad. Even better than your dead, useless mother. The king of Great Zhou stared at her and suddenly began to praise her. A smile appeared on his bark-like face, which looked very strange in this atmosphere. After hearing this, Zhou Waner's dark eyes flashed with murderous intent, but she hid it well. Thank you for the compliment, father. Her tone was still cold. If she had not been controlled by the poison, she would have wanted to chop off the head of this so-called father in front of her and cut him into pieces. I'm afraid no one would have thought that behind the glamorous 7th princess was actually a killer secretly trained by the king of Zhou, who was specifically responsible for handling some shady matters for him. Do you know what this is? King de Zhou put away his smile and waved his hand. A poison needle appeared in the air, emitting a green light. When Zhou Waner saw it, her pupils shrank slightly, as if she had seen something terrifying. As a killer, how could she not know that this is the famous soul-destroying needle? If one shot is injected, no matter who it is, their soul will be destroyed, and it is difficult to detect and extremely concealed. I want you to go to the 9 heavens secret realm and kill Nangong Chen. No matter what method you use, whether it's a honey trap or assassination, as long as you can kill him, I will set you free and bury your useless mother's coffin in the Great Zhou ancestral land. Otherwise, I will throw her body into a mass grave and let her become a wandering ghost, never to be reborn. King de Zhou looked cold and threatening. Yes, Zhou Waner said calmly, blood flowing on her fair hands. Chapter 42. All parties are dispatched. Palace of the Sun God, the top Taoist tradition in China. Ling Tian, the Holy Sun, has not yet emerged from seclusion. This time you will lead the disciples to the 9 heavens secret realm. You must seize the opportunities within the secret realm. On the square platform, an old man with red eyebrows looked at the young man below and spoke. Yes, the young man spoke, stars flashing as his eyes opened and closed, and he exuded an extremely sharp sword intent and an extremely deep aura. Well, you are a true disciple of my palace. Your strength and talent are both top-notch. I still believe in you. If you perform well this time, You may even attract the attention of the palace master." The old man said lightly, with a hint of appreciation in his tone. After he finished speaking, the old man disappeared here. After hearing this, Lan Lingtian's eyes were burning with passion, and he muttered to himself, "It's just a 9 heavens secret realm. Who can stop me? But I heard that the 9 heavens secret realm is in East Shenzhou. Doesn't that mean I can go visit Fenger this time? I wonder how he's been doing lately." That's right, he was none other than Lan Lingtian, the elder brother of Lan Feng from the Scarlet Cloud Sword Sect. He was also a true disciple of the Sun God Palace and a peerless genius with 8th grade talent. He was currently ranked 50th on the heavenly ranking. He has been feeling a little uneasy lately, as if he has lost something. "It's best if nothing happens to Fenger, otherwise you won't be able to bear my wrath." Lan Lingtian looked at the jade pendant in his hand, which looked a little dim, and murmured, "Howran Pavilion, the top force in central China. The 9 heavens secret realm appears?" An extremely burly man with a crew cut looked a little surprised when he heard this. If someone recognized him, they would find that this person was Yu Russian, who had previously questioned Nangong Chen's qualifications for having double pupils in front of the Tianji Pavilion. "Still in East Shenzhou?" Yu Russian's eyes flashed with a gleam of light. "Doesn't that mean that this time I can go meet this so-called person with double pupils? I heard that people with double pupils have never been defeated since ancient times. I want to see if it is really as true as it seems." Yu Russian murmured. As a fellow prodigy on the heavenly ranking, he naturally had a sense of pride in his heart, and those so-called monsters were superior to him. Now, a genius with a talent beyond the 9th rank has emerged, and he is from Eastern Shenzhou. If we are suppressed by him, wouldn't it be shameful? As a leader of the younger generation of Howran Pavilion and possessing the legendary Vajrabhati, he naturally had to defend the reputation of the prodigies on the heavenly ranking. The Chu family, one of the 4 major families in Zhongshenzhou. 9 heavens secret realm, there are also legendary magic pills and magic techniques inside? Ahahaha. Isn't that specially designed for this young master? In the lobby, a dignified young man laughed after hearing this. "Rebellious son, you can't even hold on to the 100th place on the heavenly ranking, and you still want to snatch opportunities from others." On the first seat, a middle-aged man with an imposing presence glared at him and pretended to slap him. After hearing this, Chu Xing also showed a fearful smile, hid to the side, and then explained, "Who knew that in that desolate place of East Shenzhou, a person with double pupils exceeding the 9th rank of talent could appear, and even squeeze this young master out? I'm so angry." The middle-aged man was also a little stunned after hearing this. "What did you say? Super 9th grade?" "Yes, beyond the 9th rank. I had nothing to do that day, so I went to the Tianji Pavilion and stared blankly. As a result, I saw that my ranking on the Tianbang was squeezed out by a kid named Nangong Chen." Chu Xing got angry when he thought about it. After Chu Xing finished speaking, he still seemed unsatisfied and continued to complain. "Tell me, did the Tianji Pavilion make a mistake? Where in this world is there anyone with a talent beyond the 9th rank? Wouldn't that make them even scarier than those evildoers among the evildoers? In other words, scarier than my sister." When he talked about his sister, a hint of fear appeared in his eyes. If it's double pupils, then it makes sense. After all, there was once a person with double pupils in ancient times who dominated the world and was extremely powerful. It's a pity that there were no stone tablets to test aptitude at that time, so we can't know what level of aptitude he had. But since the Tianji Pavilion has listed it as a super 9th grade artifact, it should be correct. The middle-aged man said slowly, "Wow, there really is someone scarier than my sister. That must be the unrivaled demon lord. My sister has 3 heads and 6 arms, so he must have at least 10 heads and 10 arms. Damn it, this person with double pupils shouldn't bother me, right?" When Chu Xing heard his father's affirmation, his face looked a little desperate. Just then, he felt a chill coming from behind. "I never thought that in my brother's eyes, I would be so horrible and ugly. I am so sad." Suddenly, a beautiful woman appeared out of nowhere, her figure like a ghost. She was wearing a light yellow long dress. Her eyes were as bright as autumn waves. Her skin was as white as cream, but her face was a little pale, making her look pitiful and even more pitiful. Cough, cough. I'm so sad. She covered her mouth with a white handkerchief and coughed twice. She looked very weak, and her voice sounded faintly like crying. Chu Xing's clothes on the back were soaked with cold sweat. His face turned pale in an instant, and his teeth were chattering. She. When did she come? After seeing this, everyone understood something and pretended to leave as if something had suddenly happened. Oh, your baby is about to be born? Okay. I'll go take a look. It seems like the quilts at home haven't been put away. Is it going to rain? I'll leave first. I remember now. My alchemy furnace is still burning. I'm leaving too. After the middle-aged man in the lead saw that everyone had dispersed, he looked at Chu Xing, shook his head, showed sympathy, then locked the door and left. Soon, a series of ghostly howling sounds were heard in the hall of the Chu family. The servants outside looked calm when they heard this, as if they were used to it. East Shenzhou, Dacian Dynasty. Inside a secret room, a young man in a black robe, with his eyes closed, was practicing. The energy and blood in his body were extremely vigorous, like a vast ocean, emitting a terrifying aura. At this moment, a respectful voice sounded outside. Sir, have you finished your training? The man in black robe opened his eyes, and as his eyes opened and closed, there was a strange vision of a blue dragon turning into the sky, and a powerful wave spread from him. Come in, he said lightly, his eyes looking very arrogant. A young man in a golden robe walked in. When he saw the man in the black robe, his eyes were extremely hot. Father said that the Imperial Master predicted that the Tianyuan Secret Realm meeting would be held tomorrow, so we can set off today. If any of the people of the Dacian dynasty saw this scene, they would be extremely shocked. I didn't expect that the eldest prince, who was of such noble status, would be so respectful to the person in front of him. Jun Wushuang glanced at him and said casually, My Azure Dragon transformation art has now been perfected, and it's time to set off. Your Excellency is indeed worthy of being a 9th grade talent. Your talent is truly extraordinary. Who can be your opponent in this 9 heavens secret realm? The eldest prince said excitedly with a look of admiration on his face. The reason is simple. The person in front of him is really the strongest genius of Dacian, Jun Wushuang, a divine body with 9th grade qualifications. If he were here, Dacian would not be able to run rampant in the 9 heavens secret realm this time. I am determined to obtain the 9 heavens secret realm this time. No one can stop me, not even the geniuses of central Shenzhou. Jun Wushuang said confidently. Now I am at the peak of the Purple Mansion. If I can seize an item in the 9 heavens secret realm to build a foundation, from now on, I will be able to conquer all directions and become invincible in the world. Jun Wushuang is full of vigor and has an invincible mood. Your Excellency is mighty. With you here, the younger generation of the Great Zhou will never dominate us again. The eldest prince was very excited. Your vision is too narrow. I have never considered them rivals, just a mere Great Zhou. They are not qualified. My true rivals have always been the monsters in the top 10 of the heavenly ranking. Well, since you've begged me so hard, I'll just do something to suppress the younger generation of the Great Zhou. Then you can humiliate them back. Jun Wushuang was very proud and said disdainfully. Chapter 43, Killing Intent, Curiosity. Northern Territory. This is the border between the 2 dynasties of East Shenzhou. It is extremely desolate and an ownerless land, and wars often break out between the 2 dynasties. During this period of time, top sects and first-class forces have been rushing here from time to time. Flying boats with different flags, flying monsters, and various chariots crossed the void, creating a very lively scene. Although they all knew that only the top sects could enjoy the benefits in the 9 heavens secret realm, and their purpose of coming here was just to train their own geniuses and see if they could pick up some scraps. And today is the highlight. Many people in Shentian domain expect that the 9 heavens secret realm will open today. Therefore, some of the most important forces also appeared one after another, causing shock to many people. For example, a golden chariot sped past, and some people saw the figure in it and couldn't help but exclaim in surprise. Lan Lingtian, the true disciple of the Sun God Palace and ranked 50th on the heavenly ranking, is here too. Some people also saw a huge gourd flying by, spewing out bursts of light, and at an extremely fast speed. That was the Haoran Pavilion in Zhongshenzhou. The disciples there were famous for their physical training. Each of them was a battle maniac and extremely fierce. What's more, some people even saw a huge blue cloud eagle flying by, and the pressure from it was extremely terrifying. It is the proof of travel for top families. That's actually the Chu family of central Shenzhou. Could that figure inside be the Chu family's saintess? Chu Yan? That's the 6th-ranked monster on the heavenly ranking. Someone sighed. In short, this time's 9 Heaven's secret realm will be a showdown between all the top geniuses. Not long after, as these top forces landed one by one, it attracted a lot of discussion. The Sun God Palace is indeed led by Lan Lingtian. It seems that the Sun God Palace is almost certain to win this time. Yeah, but Lan Lingtian looks a little angry. Could something have happened? Some people noticed something was wrong and spoke up. At this moment, at the palace of the Sun God, Lan Lingtian's face turned extremely pale, and then turned into anger, with murderous intent bursting out of his body. Just now, he learned that his brother Lan Feng was dead, killed by a man named Nangong Chen. After learning that Nangong Chen was actually a native of East Shenzhou, he became even angrier. His eyes turned red, and his previous calmness disappeared in an instant. A little-known person who had never been heard of actually killed his brother. What happened? The elders from the Sun God Palace who followed this time also asked after seeing it. Seeing the elder asking, Lan Lingtian's face turned blue and purple. He cannot delay the Sun Palace because of his own affairs, otherwise he will be held accountable. Lan Lingtian could only suppress his anger now and wait until later to resolve the issue. Disciple is fine. Thank you, Elder Lin, for your concern. Lan Lingtian took a deep breath and said in a deep voice. After hearing this, Lin Yinhua was puzzled, but nodded. Now that the secret realm is about to open, everything depends on it. Remember, Lan Lingtian also calmed down a little and nodded. The Chu family disciples on the other side were also very curious after seeing this scene. Chu Xing laughed and said, Sister, do you think he's been cheated on? He's so excited, his expression keeps changing. It's really interesting. After hearing this, the figure in the carriage also pulled open the bead curtain and walked out. Little brother, didn't I tell you? Don't make fun of others outside. Chu Yan said seriously, but in fact he was already very happy in his heart. The smile on his lips could hardly be suppressed. Chu Yan's appearance also attracted a lot of people's attention. Fairy Chu is truly beyond words. If I could ask for her beauty, I would rather lose 10 years of my life. My urine is yellow. I'm here to wake you up. Stop talking. In my opinion, the opportunity this time belongs to Fairy Chu. After all, being ranked 6th on the heavenly ranking is a very prestigious title. Over at Haoran Pavilion, you Russians seemed to be looking for something and kept looking at the people nearby. Brother, who are you looking for? A disciple asked. The one with double pupils is Nangong Chen. You Russians said lightly. A big part of the reason why he came here this time was because of Nangong Chen. He wanted to see what kind of person Nangong Chen, who had super 9th grade qualifications, would be. Soon, everyone discovered that there seemed to be too few people coming from the top forces in East Shenzhou. You guys are saying, could it be that there's a lack of young talent in Eastern Shenzhou, and no geniuses are emerging? Ha 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 ha. It's possible, but it's better if he didn't come. If he came, he would be humiliated by us. Yes, with the Chu family fairy and 3 heavenly ranking monsters here, who can compete with them? Everyone laughed and looked disdainful. At this moment, a cold voice sounded. Have you forgotten that Nangong Chen, who entered the top 100 of the heavenly ranking last month, has a talent beyond the 9th rank? After hearing this, the smiles on everyone's faces froze. Yeah, they forgot about that. The topic of discussion among these geniuses shifted to Nangong Chen. What? Nangong Chen? Lan Lingtian quickly reacted after hearing everyone's discussion. After some inquiries, I found out that the person with double pupils who entered the top 100 of the heavenly ranking last month was named Nangong Chen, and he was still in eastern Shenzhou. Could it really be him? Lan Lingtian was a little moody, but he was somewhat certain in his heart. His brother is at least a genius in the sect, and the one who can kill him is most likely Nangong Chen. However, when he heard that Nangong Chen was only at the Purple Mansion realm, his face suddenly lit up with joy. The super 9th grade qualifications they had discussed earlier actually frightened him, and he didn't know whether to seek revenge or not. A hint of gloom flashed across Lan Lingtian's eyes, full of resentment. Nangong Chen, blood debt must be repaid with blood. If you come to the 9 Heavens secret realm this time, I will make you feel pain. As for the Chu family, after hearing about Nangong Chen, everyone was unable to remember for a moment. But soon someone remembered. Oh, isn't this the person who pushed Chu Xing out of the heavenly ranking? Yes, that's him. Now that I think of it, I'm laughing to death. Chu Xing is indeed worthy of being the goalkeeper of the heavenly ranking. Ha 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 ha. For a moment, everyone's eyes were on Chu Xing. Chu Xing looked a little ashamed, but he still said stubbornly, he was just lucky. If he comes later, I will beat him to his knees and beg for mercy. After seeing this, Chu Yan didn't forget to add a comment. Indeed, being bumped off the list by a Purple Mansion realm cultivator is truly a lucky one. Chu Xing's face flushed red and he simply remained silent. A smile appeared on Chu Yan's lips, which was breathtakingly beautiful. At the same time, she was also a little curious in her heart. What kind of man would this person with double pupils of the 9th level be? Those who are more monstrous than her are only of the 9th grade, and this one is beyond the 9th grade. Doesn't that mean that when she grows up in the future, she will take the first place on the heavenly ranking sooner or later? Interesting, she wanted to see how those people would react then. Soon, an extremely huge flying boat appeared in the void, with rays of light gushing out from it and runes intertwined, which was very gorgeous and dazzling. The 2 words Tianyuan on the flag were even more domineering. Everyone was shocked. What kind of power could be so grand and luxurious? Chapter 44, You Are Not Worthy. Seeing this scene, some young disciples hiding in East Shenzhou also began to speak out. You don't even recognize Tianyuan Mansion. How ridiculous! How dare you mock us, the Great Zhou, for having no one? Yes, you know that the young master of Tianyuan Mansion is the one you mentioned with double pupils, and his Taoist partner has the legendary 9th grade divine body. How many people are there in the entire Shentian territory? We have 2 in our Great Zhou alone. I don't know who is the frog in the well. These young disciples from eastern Shenzhou spoke with disdain in their tone. They had just been ridiculed by people from other states, which really drove them crazy. Now they finally had a chance to vent. Although Nangong Chen has a bad reputation in the Great Zhou, he is strong. Among the talented disciples of the Great Zhou who have come here now, none of them have not heard of what happened in the Tianyuan Academy at that time. One person swept through the entire academy, suppressing the entire young generation so that they could not raise their heads. He was extremely high-spirited and looked like a devil descending to the earth. Therefore, Nangong Chen's reputation also changed in the minds of these people. They believed in their hearts that Nangong Chen would definitely suppress these people. Among the crowd, there was a tall and beautiful figure. Her eyes were like water and moon. Her skin was like fresh snow. She wore a veil on her face, and her temperament was very elegant. When she heard about Nangong Chen's deeds, her expression became complicated. I didn't expect that after the sect was taken over by Nangong Chen, he did so many things. Each one is more shocking than the last. That's right, this person is Lu Ruyan from the Scarlet Cloud Sword sect. On the other side, there was also a black-robed figure gritting his teeth, and the sound made it difficult to tell whether it was male or female. Nangong Chen. This time in the 9 Heavens secret realm, I will definitely kill you to avenge my own castration. That's right, under the black hood was Su Outyen. Now, since Su Outyen castrated himself, although his voice has become more feminine and his face has lost some of its firmness, he has become stronger and has made a breakthrough to the early stage of the Great Power Realm, which can be said to be a rapid progress. As the saying goes, I lost my bird, but I became stronger. The disciples from other states except Dong Shenzhou were also somewhat shocked after hearing these flatteries. They hadn't imagined that the person with double pupils would be so popular, and furthermore, his Taoist partner was also a 9th-grade divine body. Now, they no longer dare to say bad things about the genius of East Shenzhou. If you have 9th-grade qualifications and grow up in the future, you will definitely be at the top of the heavenly ranking without a single surprise. They can't afford to offend such an existence. At the same time, everyone looked at the gradually falling flying boat with increasing curiosity in their eyes. The flying boat landed and the gushing rays of light gradually went out. 2 figures walked down from above, a man and a woman. When they came out, it seemed that the whole world had dimmed. The woman is extremely gorgeous, with a beautiful face that is breathtaking. The man walks like a dragon and a tiger, with a face like a banished immortal. He even has an immortal aura around him and an extraordinary temperament. These 2 people are Su Li and Nangong Chen. When everyone saw this, they couldn't help but look shocked. They couldn't believe that there were 2 such extraordinary people in this world, as if they were made for each other. The man was extremely envious of Nangong Chen, envious that he had such a beautiful Taoist partner. The women were extremely enthusiastic. After seeing Nangong Chen's face, they couldn't help but clamp their legs together, their eyes filled with excitement. It seems that Nangong Chen's army of female fans will increase a lot, which is enough to show his extremely handsome face. Nangong Chen looked calm, as if he was already accustomed to it. He only took a quick glance around and discovered many unexpected gains. In his double pupils, he actually saw 3 people with relatively good luck. One was the old acquaintance Su Outyen, whose luck was emitting a faint glow, and it was obvious that it had almost been devoured by Nangong Chen. The other was the old acquaintance Lu Ruyan, who did not encounter many surprises. The last one was a woman from the Chu family. Although Nangong Chen didn't recognize who she was, he could sense that she had great luck. It would be good if he could subdue her. Su Li, who was standing aside, was being stared at by so many people. Although her face was calm, she felt a little uncomfortable in her heart. After seeing this, Chi Yao couldn't help but laugh in Su Li's mind. Wow, your husband is really popular. I'm a little jealous. Su Li had long been accustomed to her nagging and did not respond. On the Chu family's side, Chu Yan and Nangong Chen looked at each other, both extremely shocked. Of course, she was not shocked by Nangong Chen's peerless appearance, but by his strength, which she could not see through. She is the 6th genius on the heavenly ranking, and now she has reached the peak of the Great Power Realm, but she can't even see through a Purple Mansion realm. Chu Yan was more interested in Nangong Chen, and she really wanted to find out the secrets of this man. Chu Xing, who was standing by, couldn't help but smack his lips when he saw this scene. A little shocked. This was the first time he saw his sister look like this. Could it be that his sister is interested in this man? Thinking of this, Chu Xing's eyes moved, and he couldn't help but say, Sister, he has a Taoist partner. You are not going to steal his Taoist partner, are you? But you are so domineering, I don't think anyone can snatch it away from you. Sai, I didn't expect that I would also have a brother-in-law. Chu Yan was stunned. He didn't expect his brother to say that, and he felt a little ashamed and angry. You die! She punched Chu Xing directly in the stomach, knocking him to the ground and causing him to roll over with a look of immense pain. At the Sun God Palace, Lan Lingtian looked at Nangong Chen coldly, his eyes full of murderous intent. Even if you are the so-called person with double pupils, I will kill you after you go in. And at this moment, a scene that no one expected occurred. A man flew in the air, his eyes burning as he stared at Nangong Chen. He said, I am you Russian, number 61 on the heavenly ranking. I've heard of the invincibility of those with double pupils, so I came here to teach you. This person is none other than you Russian from Howran Pavilion, a man with an 8th grade Vajra body. As soon as these words were spoken, The whole audience was in an uproar, and everyone showed an expression of gloating. Now it's time to watch the fun. Everyone also wanted to see the strength of this so-called person with double pupils. He is the only one with a talent beyond the 9th level. Su Outyen in the crowd was overjoyed. He was happy to see Nangong Chen being humiliated. He had heard of the heavenly ranking a long time ago. It was the top ranking of geniuses in the Shentian domain. This person is ranked 61st on the heavenly ranking. It would be easy for him to teach Nangong Chen a lesson. On the other side, Chu Xing, who had a bump on his head, saw this and wanted to challenge Nangong Chen, but was stopped by Chu Yen. "Do you want to go up there and die?" Chu Yen said coldly. "Please teach me about this kind of behavior. If you make someone unhappy, they will hit you without any mercy. Even if they die, they won't blame you, and there will be no place to seek justice." Chu Xing was a little puzzled. He was just a cultivator in the Purple Mansion realm. Was it necessary to be like this? However, seeing Chu Yan's terrifying look, he didn't dare to mention it anymore and could only look at that side with a depressed face. "This old woman must be afraid that I will beat my brother-in-law to death." "You're not worthy." Nangong Chen had a calm expression, an extraordinary temperament, and his white clothes rustled as he spoke disdainfully, with an air of confidence about him. As soon as these words were spoken, the whole place fell silent. They didn't expect Nangong Chen to say this. Chapter 45. Fighting You Russian. You Russian's face suddenly turned red, like pig liver. He was a top genius on the heavenly ranking and the eldest senior brother of Howren Pavilion. When had he ever been humiliated like this? "I didn't expect that a person with double pupils would only be good at talking. I overestimated you before." You Russian shook his head and said disappointedly, "Oh, if you want to fight, it's not impossible, but you have to add some incentives." Nangong Chen was not angry at all and continued to speak calmly. After hearing this, you Russian gritted his teeth, as if he had made some important decision. "Okay, since you want a prize, I'll offer 30 million spirit stones. Of course, you have to offer something of equal value." As soon as these words were spoken, everyone's pupils shrank slightly. They didn't expect that a battle would involve a bet of 30 million spirit stones. Nangong Chen shook his head. This was too little. It was not even enough to fill the gaps in his Tianyuan Lingbei. You should know that it takes 1 immortal crystal to be transformed into 1 drop of immortal liquid, and 1 immortal crystal is equivalent to 100 million spirit stones. You Russian was also stunned. 30 million spirit stones were not enough. 30 million spirit crystals? Are you giving it to a beggar? Nangong Chen said disdainfully. After hearing this, everyone was even more shocked. 30 million spirit crystals weren't enough. This man with double pupils is just the young master of a dynasty, yet he actually speaks so arrogantly. Then how much do you want? You Russian's face turned cold. He didn't want to play it so big. "I want 10 fairy crystals," Nangong Chen said shockingly. You Russian immediately felt that he had been fooled. 10 immortal crystals were equivalent to 10 billion spirit stones, which was roughly equal to the total assets of a first-rate force. And he only had 2 spirit crystals on him. How could he take them out? "If you don't want to fight, just refuse. Why are you making such arrogant remarks?" You Russian said coldly and then added, "Of course, if you can produce 10 spirit crystals, I will agree to your request." He was very confident and concluded that Nangong Chen definitely did not have 10 fairy crystals. He was just the young master of a small dynasty. When these words were spoken, some people sneered. It would be embarrassing if Nangong Chen couldn't produce it later. At the Chu family, when Chu Yen saw this scene, she couldn't help but worry about Nangong Chen in her heart, for some unknown reason. She even had an idea in her mind that if Nangong Chen couldn't produce it later, she would take out 10 fairy crystals herself and ask Chu Xing to deliver them to him. Soon, when Chu Yen reacted, she was stunned. Why did she come up with such a crazy idea? Chu Xing on the side was watching the field with great interest, not noticing anything unusual about Chu Yen. Nangong Chen laughed. Did he really think he was just some nobody? Soon, several brilliant white lights appeared, and 10 fairy crystals as bright as glass floated in the void. When Yu Rushan saw this, he was secretly shocked. This guy is so rich. After seeing these fairy crystals, everyone's eyes widened and their mouths almost drooled. So many spirit stones. That's 1 billion spirit stones, enough to build a first-rate force. And those who had just said that Nangong Chen didn't have it were now a little ashamed and didn't dare to speak. The female geniuses from other states present had bright eyes, were handsome and wealthy. Weren't they the perfect Taoist partners in their minds? It's just 10 fairy crystals. You can't really not take it out, right? Nangong Chen smiled, with a hint of sarcasm in his tone. Big brother, you must not agree to it. If we lose, all 10 immortal crystals will be gone, and the sect leader will definitely blame us. The disciple in Haoran Pavilion advised. Hearing Nangong Chen's provocation, Yu Rushan secretly clenched his fists and completely ignored the words of his other junior brothers. How ridiculous! How could he lose? If he won, he would earn 10 fairy crystals for Haoran Pavilion. Thinking of this, Yu Rushan's eyes became a little fanatical. Okay, I promise you. Then take action. Nangong Chen's expression was calm. His eyes were like stars, and his body was full of divine light, like a saint descending to the world. The next moment, Yu Rushan took the lead and kicked the ground hard, causing a burst of dust and rushing towards Nangong Chen like a nuclear bomb. At the same time, his aura continued to surge, and brilliant golden light burst out from his body. His sturdy body contained endless power. Vajra body. Someone recognized it and exclaimed. Yu Rushan was extremely fast and soon came in front of Nangong Chen. He punched down directly, and the fist emitted a golden light. A huge power spread out, as if it could smash the sky and the earth into pieces. Nangong Chen was not in a hurry and responded with the same punch. There was nothing fancy about it, just a very simple punch. Even his divine elephant prison-suppressing power was not activated. When Yu Rushan saw this scene, he was also happy. He has never met anyone who has achieved higher physical accomplishments than him. With this punch, even a late-stage great power would be forced to kneel. Not to mention Nangong Chen. Everyone also shook their heads. It was really stupid to confront someone who focused on cultivating the physical body. Su Outyen and Lan Lingtian also sneered, both wanting to see Nangong Chen suffer a setback. Boom! The two fists collided, unleashing tremendous power that spread to the surroundings. In an instant, smoke and dust rose, and gravel flew everywhere. Everyone's faces changed. This power was too strong, just like two human-shaped beasts fighting each other. And in the smoke, a figure covered in blood flew backwards, turning into a graceful arc. Hiss! After everyone saw it clearly, they opened their eyes wide in disbelief. The bleeding figure was Yu Rushan. At this time, Yu Rushan's right hand was in an extremely awkward position. Obviously, it had been disabled, with white bones exposed on it, looking extremely miserable. How is this possible? Yu Rushan's pupils shrank slightly, as if he had seen a ghost, and he couldn't recover for a long time. His physical body was no match for Nangong Chen. He felt like he was facing a true dragon descendant, and a feeling of powerlessness rose in his heart. On the other side, the smoke dissipated, and Nangong Chen's expression was calm. He was dressed in peerless white, spotless, like a god-king in white. When everyone saw this, they were all shocked. They thought that both sides would suffer losses, but they did not expect that the result would be like this. Not only did Nangong Chen look uninjured, he didn't even seem to be taking it seriously. The smiles on Su Outyen and Lan Lingtian's faces froze. Their eyes filled with disbelief. Master is so awesome! Wang Yuxuan shouted in her heart behind Nangong Chen. If her master had not warned her not to be too intimate in front of Su Li, she would have run up to him and gotten close to him. She was suffocated to death because she couldn't do happy things with her master during this period. This boy's physical body is truly terrifying. It's hard to imagine that such a heaven-defying person would appear in your lower realm. Chi Yao couldn't help but sigh. After Su Li heard this, her beautiful eyes lit up. She had expected Nangong Chen to win, but she didn't expect him to win so easily. On the Chu family's side, Chu Yan's pretty face was also shocked, and she felt inexplicably relieved in her heart. Chu Xing, who was standing beside him, looked pale and said in a trembling voice, "Fuck! Luckily you grabbed me, or I would have been the one lying on the ground. Sis, I'll never call you a humanoid Tyrannosaurus again. It turns out your brother-in-law is the one." After Chu Yan heard this, her beautiful eyes darkened and she punched him directly, making a bump on his left side.